how fast do you think I could get every single mutation to grow on the Cacao in Roblox Grow a Garden? In this video, I challenged myself to get every mutation on the Cacao seed and see how fast I could actually get all of those mutations on it. Now, the Cacao is a very classic seed. It's been in the seed shop for a very long time, and it used to be the best seed in the game before the beanstalk dethroned it. So I felt that the Cacao seed was a special fruit to get every single mutation on and deserved love. And that's exactly what I did. So how fast in this video will I be able to get every single mutation on the Cacao, and what will it be worth by the end of the video? So we're going to start off, though, with the sprinklers this time instead of the Mooncat. So we're going to go ahead and put down our Grandmaster Sprinkler, Master, Godly, Advanced, Basic, and then we're going to plant our Cacao seed right in that mix there. All right, and then we will go ahead and spawn in some of our Triceratopses here. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in 3 of these guys so they can help us grow this thing a little bit faster. Actually, the Cacao seems to grow pretty quick. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do then is, since we don't need all 3 of these guys, I'm going to keep one of these age 9 ones out, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up these other 2. All right, there we go. Our Cacao tree is looking nice, and then we're going to go ahead and spawn in our Mooncats now. That way they can try to affect the fruit. Now, I know a lot of people have been saying to use the pancake stacks, and that I'm triggering you by not using the pancake stack, but you know what, dude? I don't have any pancake stacks yet, okay? The cooking update's very grindy. I need more time to get some pancakes. I'm sorry. All right, but anyways, we have all of our Mooncats here. They should give us some good growth for our fruits before the Triceratops smacks into our Cacao tree. So we're going to let the Cacao tree just soak on these sprinklers, and we're going to trowel it into a pile of Mooncats. This is a good stack right here. Look at all these Mooncats right here. All right, this should give us a pretty big Cacao. Look how many are right here. Let's let this last one finish sleeping, and then let's move this back into the stack of sprinklers, and let's wait for our Triceratops here to nail our Cacao tree, and hopefully we get a big one to grow. And it looks like we might already have some big ones. There's something starting up here, which I think means this is going to be a big one, because usually they don't start that high up off the tree like that. So I think this is good news for us. Okay, we got some big ones. There's still one up here floating, so I think we might get a bigger one. I guess for now we'll move some of these so we can try to get even bigger Cacaos. I'm gonna favorite this one since it seems to be the biggest. And oh, we got a nighttime event, dude. This is perfect timing and all, but I still got to get this thing rainbow. I'm not ready for nighttime yet. All right, our Cacaos have grown in. I really can't tell which one is the biggest one out of all of these. All right, so I think I'm going to favorite this one. We'll pick up... Well, I don't actually know. Hold on. All right, I think these are definitely the 2 biggest ones here. So I think this will be our winning Cacao today, the one that we already had favorited. So we'll pick this one up, and now we have our winning Cacao. I think this is a good size. I don't really know the biggest Cacao size, but I think this will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up all of these pets we have, and let's go ahead and get some mutations on this thing. So it already came with Moonlit for free since we have this event going on. So I'm gonna throw a Windstruck on there, Pollinated, Chocolate, and Shocked. And there we go. We have 5 mutations on it, which will now be converted to Rainbow once we spawn in this butterfly here. And to get that butterfly's cooldown to be a little bit faster, we're going to spawn in a Queen Bee, and the Queen Bee will cool down the butterfly, and the butterfly will convert this to Rainbow. Now, a lot of people have been saying, oh, Bandites used the Mimic Octopus instead of the Queen Bee. The cooldown's even faster. It's actually not. The Mimic Octopus is about 19 minutes, while this is only about 17 and a half. So you save a minute and a half. Big brain math, okay? All right, so we're gonna let them do their work, get this thing to Rainbow, and then in the meantime over here on my main account, I'm going to spawn in a Queen Bee over here as well, but paired with my Kitsune. So whenever these cooldowns reset, the Kitsune will come over here, steal my Cacao, and apply chakra to it. All right, so our Queen Bee's cooldown is about done here. She's about to cool down our butterfly so we can get the butterfly to take all of these and convert it to Rainbow. Now, I know people are going to be calling me stupid because I forgot I could just keep one of those Cacaos I got Moonlit and then Spinosaurus it over to this big Cacao later, but we're just going to use Tanukis anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, there we go. The Cacao is now Rainbow, so we're good to go. We no longer need this butterfly or Queen Bee for now. So I'm going to go ahead and favorite it now so I don't accidentally pick it up. We're going to get our sprays out. We're going to put Pollinated back onto it. We're going to put Fried. We're going to put Shocked, Chocolate, Honey Glazed, Verdant, Burnt, and Wet. And then we're going to go over here on our main account, and we're going to apply Cloud Touch to it. And now we are up to 10 mutations on our Cacao. We'll have 11 in just a second. Once our Kitsune comes over here, steals it, and applies Chakra to it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get our pets started then, so they can start applying their mutations. We're going to start actually today by spawning in these lobsters here. But these guys literally take up to 30 minutes to try and apply Meteoric, and 15 minutes to try and apply Molten. And we're also going to spawn in our Tranquil Scarlet and our Corrupted Scarlet. to try and get Tranquil and Corrupt on our Cacao, since those guys take forever as well to apply those mutations. All right, and then next up, we're gonna go ahead and spawn in 2 Disco Bees to attempt to get the Disco mutation applied. We will spawn in 2 Chicken Zombies to try and get Zombified applied, and that takes up all 8 of our slots here. So we're gonna let these guys do their thing, and then we'll go ahead and throw some more pets into the mix. But for now, this should be good. All right, my Kitsune from my main account just stole my big Cacao here, so that should have applied Chakra to it. Let's see. Oh, they're all up here now. All right, yep, there we go. We have Chakra applied to our Cacao, so that is another mutation done. I'm gonna delete these little ones growing in still. That is done and out of the way. Now we're just gonna be waiting for these other pets to finish their cooldowns here. We have some bad news. Maybe I should have spawned in my Kappas first, but there is a frost event, which means this is now frozen. We didn't get bloodlet from the Kappas, but usually the Kappas take forever anyways, and we hardly ever get bloodlet from them, so I guess that's fine. We'll still get moonlit and a ton of other mutations done shortly. I'm not too worried about it. This usually happens anyways because of how many times the frost event spawns in. The Kappas are nearly useless at this point. All right, their cooldowns are about done. Come on. Meteoric failed. All right, we got Molten. So what we're gonna do is just keep this one here, and we'll eventually use a Spinosaurus to move that over to our big one. And I guess we'll just do that with all of our other pets as well if we get mutations on other Cacaos that grow in. So that's fine. We'll just keep them here. I hate that these boosts only last 5 minutes, because look at this. I have to waste another toy because I was only a few seconds off, 4 seconds off. They didn't make it so the toy doesn't have a timer on it. It just gives you 1 boost, and once the pet uses the ability, the boost is gone, because I'm sick of this happening. Jandel, you've already taken so much from us. Actually, you haven't done anything. But anyways, you've taken this from me. Tranquil and Corrupt both failed. These pets just hate me today. It's confirmed. All right, our Disco Bees are about to attempt to apply their mutation. Somehow this one bugged, by the way, so this cooldown is now longer than the actual Disco Bees ability. But anyways, first Disco Bees going. Failed. Okay, well, hopefully this next one gives us Disco. We usually don't have this many fails with the Disco Bees, dude. I don't know what's going on. Why do they hate us today? Why do all of our pets hate us today? It's crazy. All right, Biscuit, what are we doing? We're gonna do Disco, please. Failed. Bro, what is going on with the Disco Bees today? I don't understand. This is stressful. This is actually pretty stressful. Anyways, this Cacao we originally got Molten on now has Disco on it from our Disco Bees, so we are officially free of waiting for the Disco Bees, dude. We actually got Disco on something. We're gonna use a Spinosaurus in a little bit to move this over to our big Cacao. All right, so we finally have another mutation done and out of the way. It's taken forever, dude, but we're gonna go ahead now and spawn in a Raiju, because this is a guaranteed mutation we can get done and out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and spawn this guy in with a carrot seed here, and then we're going to apply the shock spray onto this carrot, and the Raiju will eat this carrot in just a little bit and then convert the shock into static and apply that to our Cacao. I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in a pterodactyl here, and this pterodactyl should apply tempestuous to either our Cacao or to one of our carrots. I'm gonna go ahead and place a couple more down so he has more chance. All right, so our Raiju's cooldown is about done here. He's about to eat this shocked carrot, turn that to static, apply to our Cacao. I'm actually gonna move these carrots out of the way because the pterodactyl has a little bit of a longer cooldown, and that way we can focus on this guy just trying to get that static applied to our Cacao. Also, our meteoric has failed, which is going to probably happen all day today. Here we go. Carrot's getting 8. Static's getting applied. Boom. There we go. Static is done. We go ahead and pick up our Raiju here. He is done with his work. We're going to go ahead and spawn in some more carrots again, just so our pterodactyl has more opportunity to give us tempestuous. So now our pterodactyl is about to do his thing. Hopefully we get tempestuous on something here. We should get it on at least one plant, I would think. Okay, we got Twisted and Windstruck on one of our carrots, which is this one. There's Tempestuous, done and out of the way, and perfect timing because we just got a Windy event. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up these regular carrots and the Windy carrot. We're gonna keep this Tempestuous one here. Now with that, we're gonna go ahead and pick up this Pterodactyl since his work is done. We're gonna spawn in a Spinosaurus. So a Spinosaurus will start eating these mutations to give it to our big one here. So he'll eat 3 mutations at a time so we can get this Tempestuous moved over, and then we can get hopefully Disco or Molten moved over because we don't need that static or that verdant. And then we're also going to go ahead and spawn in a Corrupt Kitsune so we can start working on trying to get this guy to give us the Corrupt Chakra mutation so we can get this to Harmonize Chakra. Okay, I'm going to wait for the Spinosaurus to have 1 round done because otherwise he's going to probably eat stuff that we don't need. Also, Tranquil and Corrupt just failed again, so that's always fun. All right, first chicken zombie. Let's see. Can we please get zombified?
Nope.
failed. This is just like a common thing, I guess. They just all dislike me. That's very sad. I hope you know I have feelings. Maybe Bella will come in clutch, though, for us. Bella, don't let us down. Don't let us down. Please don't let us down. Please. I'm very upset right now. Why do they keep letting me down? Why do they hate me? Why? Alright, so our Spinosaurus is about to eat its first set of mutations. Now, this guy eats from different plants and then applies it to one fruit. So he should eat from the carrot, and then he should eat from this cacao here with Disco, Verdant, Static, and Molten on it. He should be coming over here to get his snack now. Let's see. Alright, he's gonna eat that Tempestuous first. Okay, he applied Tempestuous, but I don't know why he didn't eat from the cacao inside over here. All right, well, anyways, our Corrupt Kitsune, his cooldown here is almost done as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in these carrots now, or start planting them, because this guy can shoot his mutation at like 9 different fruits, so he might as well get all of these ready. So whenever he uses his ability, we can get that Corrupt Chakra done. Come on, you gotta give us that Corrupt Chakra. Let's go. He's shooting out. All right, we got it to 1 carrot at least. Actually, 2 carrots. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick these up. Let's go ahead and keep 1 carrot there for our Spinosaurus to eat from. And our Corrupt Kitsune is done with his work. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick him up now. He's good to go. So for now, since he's gonna convert that over to our big one, we gotta get some more pets done here. So I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in our Spaghetti Sloth here next, because he has Aromatic on him, and we also have to get all 3 of his mutations to combine and to give us Spaghetti. All right, we have some good stuff happening. We just got a heat wave event to spawn in, so we should be able to easily... Oh, wait, actually, let me move this over a little bit. Just like that. Sun-Dried applied, so now we should have Paradisal on there. Spinosaurus just moved Corrupt Chakra over as well to our big cacao here. So now we have Harmonized Chakra from that Corrupt Chakra combining with regular Chakra, and then our Verdant should be turning into Paradisal any second now. Looks like it only hit 1 of our cacao so far, which is, I guess, that one, because that one has Paradisal. So hopefully it hits this again, so we can get this one to become Paradisal. Our Spaghetti Sloth is also applying a mutation. Yeah, we now have pasta on this little cacao up here, so we just have to get meatballs and sauce now. So we're gonna probably eventually just let this guy apply all of his mutations and then spawn in another Spinosaurus or T-Rex. We need pretty much all of these mutations now on this one to be moved over to our big cacao. But there we go. This cacao just got hit by a sunbeam, so now it is Paradisal and it has Harmonized Chakra. All right, our Spaghetti Sloth is about to apply his next mutation onto our cacao, or one of our cacaos, I guess. So let's see which one he targets. I think it's the big one this time. All right, we got meatball on the big cacao. So we have meatball done, and then on the smaller one, we do have pasta. So now all we need from that Spaghetti Sloth is sauce, but then we also need to get Aromatic from his mutation shard that he has on him. All right, our lobsters are both also almost cooled down as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them some toys here to maybe, just maybe, apply Molten. Or not Molten, Meteoric. Maybe, just maybe apply Meteoric to our big cacao. We don't need Molten anymore. We just need Meteoric, but they're kind of bad at doing their jobs. They have like a tiny percent. So hopefully they help us out. Dude, I missed the admin events. I missed my boy Brider spawning in all the admin events. That was an easier time. Meteoric was pretty much guaranteed as soon as it hit your plot. All right. I expected that fail. All right, come on. Other lobster, please. Meteoric. Meteoric. No way! He actually got Meteoric applied to one of our cacaos. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was gonna get my heart broken again. I guess he has another Molten chance here, so let's just see if he'll give us Molten to our big cacao. No, he did not. That's fine. Did we actually get Molten at any chance? No, we didn't. All right, well, that's fine. Our lobsters are finally done, though, so we can go ahead and pick these guys up. They've been stressing me out, man. I can't lie. They've been really stressing me out, but they're done. They're out of the way, so now we can go ahead and spawn in a Junkbot to try and get the oil mutation and a Tanuki to try and get Moonlit. All right, it's a little loud. We have a heat wave and a thunderstorm going on. Let me turn my volume down a bit, all right? Anyways, our Spaghetti Sloth is attempting to apply another mutation. Hopefully this time we get sauce. That's the last one we need from his main ability. There we go. We got sauce. So we just need this Spinosaurus to move over pasta from this to our big one, and that way we'll have spaghetti done. All right, and next up, our Tanuki's almost done with its cooldown. So if I just give it a boost here, that should pretty much finish it. There we go. We have about 30 seconds left. So hopefully we can get Moonlit done and out of the way. And then also our Junkbot's pretty close, and our chicken zombies. So let's just see if we get any more mutations here. Hopefully Tanuki will give us Moonlit pretty quick, and early on. I kind of doubt it. Usually Tanuki just does like random stuff like shekels, but you know, we'll try. All right, let's see what Tanuki does. Hello? Shekels. Like I was saying, kind of goofy. All right, but maybe our chicken zombies will finally be our friends and give us zombified. I don't care which cacao at this point they give it to us on. We have so many of these things growing in, and our Spinosaurus is just gonna have to do a heavy job later of moving everything over. Please, just give us zombified. Please, I've been waiting. Failed. Why? Why? What is wrong with you? All right, Bella. Bella, where are you, Bella? Please, let me talk to you for a second. Hey, come on. You can do this. It's really not that hard. It's actually super easy. You can do this. Just throw up all over my cacao, give me zombified, and we'll be good. Come on. Let's go. We finally got zombified. All right, so these chicken zombies are done. We don't need you guys anymore. Thank you for your service. Bella, you did a great job throwing up on the cacaos. Please, spaghetti sloth, aromatic. Aromatic, please. And failed. All right, that's fine. At least your other friends helped us out. All right, so we made some good progress. Junkbot, don't let us down. Oil. Ready? Oil. Come on. Oil or oil. Nope. Dude failed. Buddy, you failed. You failed. What are you doing, man? All right, well, we'll see what we get done here. Any Aurora on the big guy? I know people are gonna be like, oh, Bandites, just use the magnifying glass. Just use the magnifying glass. Well, I don't use it because I like to reveal the price at the end of the video. That way we don't know what the price is until the end of the video. Otherwise, it's not as fun. Oh, what just happened? The Spinosaurus, the cooldown just went to 0 and then she didn't do anything. Jandal, buddy, what is going on with your game, bro? Why don't these pets work? What's going on? Why won't my Spinosauruses eat from the fruits that are in front of them? Why are they too scared to touch the fruits that aren't favorited? What's going on, man? All right, so I just got back from being AFK for like an hour and literally nothing really happened besides my spaghetti sloth fully got spaghetti done on our big cacao, but he did not get aromatic on anything yet. And the other thing is our Spinosauruses did not move any mutations over at all. So while we were gone, we just got more mutations built up on our cacao. So like this one here that had meteoric on it now has verdant, windstruck, wet, and pasta, but nothing was moved over. This one that had zombified on it just got tranquil, which is good progress. We did need that, but now we still need to get that moved over to the big cacao. But for some reason, our Spinosauruses just kind of bugged out. Like they didn't do anything at all. I don't know why they're so bugged right now. So if the T-Rexes don't work, then I literally don't know what's happening. I guess I'll try to rejoin the game and see if that helps. But if that doesn't help, then I'm really hoping that these T-Rexes will be able to actually move our mutations over. Again, I don't know why the Spinosauruses couldn't do it. So let's see if the T-Rexes can do it. And if they can't do it, then I don't know what's going on, dude. Okay, that's good. Okay, perfect. The T-Rexes are able to move mutations over. So it will take a little bit longer because they pretty much just duplicate it to the other cacaos we have. So that one just ate meteoric and applied it to all the other cacaos besides the big one. But that's fine. As long as I can move these over slowly over time, then we should be able to get all of these on to our big cacao. It might take a couple extra hours though, just because these guys are a little bit slower at doing so. But let's see if we can get this other one to speed up its cooldown and then apply one of the mutations over to the big one. So I have been recording this video on and off for the last 7 hours, mostly AFKing for the last 3 or 4 hours, waiting for my T-Rexes and Spinosauruses to move mutations over to my big cacao fruit. And for whatever reason, they're just not moving stuff over. The Spinosauruses did at first, but they'd only move like 1 mutation over, which is not right. They should bite a couple mutations and move them over. And then the T-Rexes did the same. They moved like 1 or 2 over, and then there's been just like no progress since. I don't know what's going on, why they're stuck, why there's no progress. I don't know if the pets are just bugged right now, but I'm literally not able to move my other mutations over. So in total though, on the main cacao plant we have here, let me show you, we do have 17 mutations, and if we separate some of these, like tempestuous, we'd have 18, spaghetti would bring us to 20, paradisal 21, frozen 22, and harmonized chocolate would bring us up to 23. But then if you look at some of these other plants, we could have gotten oil, so that would have been 24 mutations. Tranquil and zombified would have brought us up to 25 and 26 mutations. And then on this one, we have molten and disco. I can't really show it very good, but that'd bring us up to like 27 mutations. And if we get amber now, we'd have like 28. So what I'm going to do is check the price of our big cacao with all these current mutations on it. And then I will show you the price of what it would be if all of those other mutations that we got were actually put onto it, because they're just not getting moved over from my T-Rex and my Spinosaurus. So I don't know what else I could do. So I'm just going to pick this up, show you guys the value, and then show you what it would have been if those mutations got moved over and if my pets weren't being weird today. Anyways, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and check the value of this with our boy Steven over here. So Steven, what would you give us for this big cacao? Okay, so this thing is valued at 26 billion, which is pretty good for not having all those extra mutations on this that we were trying to get. All right, so here is the image of what we would have made if we actually had all those mutations moved over. I wish we could have gotten them moved over. I don't know what was going on today, why the pets were being so buggy, but we would have ended up at about 39.5 billion, which is quite an increase compared to what we were at around 20 billion. So that's actually a pretty good increase from those extra mutations. And this is with all the mutations that we would have had on it if we moved over from our other cacaos. And this includes the weight that we had at about 80.2. So let's say that the total today is about 39,516,447,207 billion. And I think that is where we should have actually been if this all went correctly. But after 7 hours, my pets have not moved it over to the big one. I think we got a bug, man. So let me know what you guys think. Is 39 billion worth it for this cacao with all these mutations on it? All right, first things first is we're going to spawn in 7 of our moon cats here. All right, and then next up, we're going to spawn in one of our triceratopses. This guy is an age 9 compared to my other 2 that are age 8. So he's a little bit ahead of the other 2. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn him in. And then we're going to go ahead and place our sprinklers here. So I'm going to go ahead and place our Grandmaster Sprinkler, a Master Sprinkler, Godly, Advanced, and Basic. And then I'm going to go ahead and slap down a Sugar Glaze Seed right in that mix. And this should help it get pretty big, plus all of our moon cats. Now, what we can also do is drag this thing over into a bunch of moon cats to hopefully get the original Sugar Glaze to be pretty big. So let me see. Can I move this? All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. And we're just going to let these moon cats mix in their abilities onto it. All right, that looks pretty good. And then I guess, you know what, since this is growing pretty quick, I can use some more watering cans on it. And then once our Triceratops here is done with this cooldown, I can just go ahead and smack this Sugar Glaze and we can get the first set of donuts done and see how big they turn out. Let's try to travel this right in between these guys. We need to get as big of a Sugar Glaze as we possibly can. Look, the cat's actually sleeping in the tree. What? All right, I'll put it in this one just to get more bonus points possibly from our moon cats. And then we're going to put it right back in our sprinklers here. All right, then finally, a couple more watering cans and this thing should be done growing. I wish I could drag the moon cats over here. I know a lot of people were telling me to get the pancakes so I can have them all focus on a section. I actually did not get the pancake unlocked. I just had the pancake mole. But yeah, that'll be one of the things I focus on unlocking next, so we can always have our moon cats target one area for our plants. All right, our Triceratops is, oh my. All right, well, it looks like we got a pretty big donut growing in. It looks like everyone's doing their job. Let's see what the Triceratops does to help. All right, kaboom. That was it. That was 33 minutes of growth. All right, so our Sugar Glaze is done growing. Why is it green? I thought it was going to be like a chocolate one, but I guess we got someone's like boogers. All right, well, we're good here with our Triceratopses, so we're going to go ahead and use some sprays here so we can get 5 mutations applied to our Sugar Glaze and then get a butterfly to turn that into rainbow for us. So we're going to go ahead and use one of these honey glaze sprays. We're going to use a pollinated, a chocolate, a shocked, and then we're just going to use a wet just to get another one out of the way. And there we go. We have 5 mutations on our Sugar Glaze here. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and trowel this so it's facing this way. This is the one time a chocolate spray makes something look a little bit better, a little bit more appetizing. All right, but anyways, I'm going to favorite this real quick just so I don't accidentally pick that up. And then we're going to go ahead and spawn in 1 queen bee here and a butterfly. So that way our queen bee will cool down our butterfly and convert this thing to rainbow. I'll take all those 5 mutations and convert it to rainbow. And then over here, my main account, I'm going to spawn in a queen bee as well. And then we're going to spawn in my kitsune. So that way, by the time this butterfly over here converts this to rainbow, then our kitsune over here will be ready, and then we can apply chakra or foxfire chakra to our Sugar Glaze. But for now, I do need to unfavorite this so the butterfly can actually convert these mutations, and we gotta wait about like 17 more minutes. Yeah, so I'll be right back. All right, so our queen bee's about done with her cooldown, and she's about to cool down our butterfly, and hopefully our butterfly can take these and apply rainbow quick, because for some reason my queen bee's timer on my main account bugged, and it is now lined up with this account. So it's about to cool down our kitsune over here as soon as this happens. So queen bee, cool down butterfly. Butterfly is now cooled down. Let's get rainbow quick before the kitsune comes. Come on, hurry up. Hurry up. All right, we're good. We got it just in time. Our sugar glaze is now rainbow. The kitsune is stealing it. And now we have rainbow and chakra done. All right, I'm going to get out of his way. It's very bright and in my eyes. I can't see anything. All right, so since this is good, we're going to go ahead and favorite this just so we don't touch it. And we're going to go ahead and pick up our queen bee and our butterfly. And then let's go ahead and apply some sprays to this thing. So we're going to reapply that shocked onto there. We're going to apply pollinated. We're going to apply fried, honey glazed, burnt, and chocolate. And then over here on my main account, we're going to apply cloud touch, we're going to apply verdant, and we're also going to apply wet, so that way our kappas have an easier time to apply bloodlet to our big sugar glaze here. All right, so that brings us up to 11 mutations on our sugar glaze, so it's looking pretty good here. So first thing I think I'm going to go ahead and do is plant a carrot seed, and we're going to put the shocked spray on our carrot seed here. All right, there we go. Our carrot is now shocked, so then I can go ahead and spawn in our Raiju, which will give us a mutation done right off the bat. He will eat this shocked carrot and apply static to our sugar glaze right away, so we can get that mutation done and out of the way. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spawn in 2 disco bees as well, so we can work on getting the disco mutation added. We're going to spawn in our Tranquil Scarlet and our Corrupted Scarlet. Even though we already have Verdant done, since they have Tranquil and Corrupt, we can get Tranquil and Corrupt mutations on our big sugar glaze here. All right, so that brings us to 5 pets here. Looks pretty good so far. I am going to go ahead and spawn in my chicken zombies next, just so we can get zombified done and out of the way. We're going to go ahead and spawn in a kappa here, so our kappa can attempt to get the sugar glaze bloodlet. And that's good. We have all of our pets ready to go, and now we just have to wait for all of their cooldowns to go by. Okay, our Raiju just charged that carrot and ate it so fast I wasn't even ready for a second there, but he did apply the static mutation onto our sugar glaze here, so that is another mutation done and out of the way. All right, so what I think I'm going to go ahead and do next is I'm going to go ahead and spawn in this corrupted kitsune so we can start working on getting a corrupt chakra or corrupt foxfire chakra and add that on to our sugar glaze. All right, and then we're also going to wait around here because our disco bees are about done with their cooldowns, and hopefully we'll get disco applied right away. Usually they're pretty good about getting us disco. Let's see it. All right, one's going off. All right, easy. That first disco bee there instantly gave us the disco mutation. So we're getting some good mutations done. All right, so since that is good and out of the way, let's see. I think I'm going to spawn in another kappa to assist getting this thing to turn bloodlet. And then I guess, let me see what else I have in here. We don't really need our cooked owls today because we did get burnt on it already and fried. All right, I guess really the only other pet we need at the moment will be the pterodactyls. So I'm going to spawn one in here, and then I think what I'll do is whenever our pterodactyl here is about to be done with his cooldown, we're just going to grow a bunch of carrots back here like last second, so that way he can try to apply tempestuous to one of these. So in case he doesn't get tempestuous on the first try on our sugar glaze, all hope won't be lost. We can get it on a carrot and then just use a Spinosaurus to move it over. All right, let's go. One of our chicken zombies just applied the zombified mutation onto our sugar glaze, so that's another mutation done. We move these chicken zombies out of the way. They've done their job. All right, so next up is our pterodactyl. His cooldown is about done, so I'm going to quickly place a couple of these carrot seeds down just to see if we can stack up and maybe get tempestuous on one of these. All right, so let's see if our pterodactyl gives us tempestuous. It'd be nice if he could just give it to us directly on the sugar glaze, but if not, we'll use a Spinosaurus to move over mutations later onto this. All right, let's see it. He went all carrot mode. He didn't even go for the sugar glaze, but one of them did get tempestuous right here. So let me go ahead and favorite this real quick, and then I'm going to pick up the rest of these. All right, there we go. So tempestuous is on this carrot, which means our pterodactyl did do his job. So I'm going to go ahead and pick him up. He is good to go. And I guess we'll go ahead and unfavorite the carrot, and then we're going to put down a Spinosaurus. So this guy will be able to eat the carrot and then move it over to our sugar glaze. Okay, so I knew something felt like it was missing, like I didn't do one of our pets that we normally do by now. And you know what? There is something missing, which is our spaghetti sloth. We got to get this guy to spawn in so he can give us sauce, pasta, and meatballs so we can get the spaghetti mutation added onto our sugar glaze. I don't know how good a spaghetti sugar glaze donut would taste, but our spaghetti sloth sure thinks it would be good. All right, so we have quite a bit of stuff about to happen. So first off, our Spinosaurus here is going to eat from our carrot, and hopefully it'll just move Tempestuous over right away. Let's see. Let's see which mutation it eats. Okay, well, it ate wet, which we didn't need, so good thing we have our other Spinosaurus as backup for right now. So we're just gonna wait for that to happen. And then also, hopefully, our Corrupt Scarlet here will apply the Corrupt mutation to our Sugar Glaze. But it is nighttime now, so we should be able to get Moonlit, and hopefully after we'll get a Celestial event, so we can get Celestial added to our Sugar Glaze. But anyways, there we go. That Spinosaurus has officially added Tempestuous over to our Sugar Glaze, so we can go ahead and pick up our Spinosauruses for now, since we don't really need them to move anything else over. I'm going to pick up that carrot, and then we just got to wait for these guys to apply their mutations to our Sugar Glaze here. So let's see. Hopefully the Corrupt Scarlet does Corrupt. Come on, please. Get it done. It failed. Okay, well, we're not going to get that one done yet, I guess. But we are going to get Moonlit done. So there we go. We now have a Moonlit added to our Sugar Glaze here and Tempestuous. So that's another 2 mutations done and out of the way. All right, Corrupted Kitsune, please give us your mutation. Please. There we go. Corrupted Kitsune applied Corrupt Chakra to Sugar Glaze. So he is done and out of the way. And now we have Harmonized Chakra added onto this thing. All right, our Spaghetti Sloth is doing something. Let's see what mutation he adds to our Sugar Glaze first. He's pretty much a guaranteed pet to give us mutations. So let's see what the first one we get is. All right, we have Sauce added to our Sugar Glaze now. So that is good to see. And once he applies his other 2, we'll have the full Spaghetti mutation done. All right, our Spaghetti Sloth is heading over to hopefully apply the next mutation that we need. Hopefully it's not the same one. All right, there we go. So we got Meatball added to Sugar Glaze. So now we have Sauce and Meatball on our Sugar Glaze here. As you can see, here's Sauce, here's Meatball. So once he adds Pasta, those will all turn into Spaghetti. Oh, wow. For the first time, I think, in one of these videos, we're actually getting an Aurora event. I mean, I guess we used to get events like this all the time, and I think we had the Aurora before when Brighter would do all the admin events. And it's ending. Well, no Aurora mutation. I guess I'll trowel this back. Okay, well, I literally just got back from being AFK, and I just came back to the Spaghetti Sloth applying Pasta to our Sugar Glaze here. So let's go ahead and take a look if anything else happened. All right, so yeah, now we have Spaghetti, because we had all 3 of the Spaghetti Sloth mutations applied. It still looks like we did not get Corrupt while I was AFK, so we still have to wait for Corrupt to be applied, and we still have to wait for Bloodlet to get applied. But our Spaghetti Sloth is at least done. All right, so finally we got another mutation done. Our Scarlet finally applied the Corrupt mutation onto our Sugar Glaze. We can go ahead and pick him up. And now we have Corrupt added onto here and Tranquil. So we have those 2 done. It's pretty much only up to our Kappas now to try and get Bloodlet. I always spawn these guys in first, and then they literally struggle the entire time to convert Wet to Bloodlet. But hopefully they do that, and then once they get this thing Bloodlet, or hopefully get it Bloodlet, we'll then apply Wet again, and then convert Wet over to Frozen. All right, well, big rip. We've been waiting for our Kappas to give us Bloodlet for like 2 or 3 hours now, and they haven't. And then we got a Frost event, so this thing is frozen, and we can't get Bloodlet now. All right, well, we didn't get Bloodlet today, but we did get Frozen. I wanted to get Frozen and Bloodlet, though, but, you know, sometimes you can never win at these things. And then, yeah, it's also been hours, and we haven't had any other events happen. We have our Raptor spawned in, so we're going to try to pick up our Sugar Glaze and get Amber applied. But in total, we do have 19 mutations, and if you spread some of these out like Tempestuous, we would have 20. Spaghetti, we would have 22. And Harmonized Chakra would bring us to 24 mutations. So if we get Amber, that'll be 25. Without further ado, let's go ahead and pick this thing up. Oh, look at that. We actually did get Amber. So yeah, this thing technically has 20 mutations on it, or 25. It, for some reason, shrunk in size when I picked it up. Sometimes the big plants do that. The donut, maybe just for holding purposes it did that, but hopefully it didn't actually break the size of it and then it's gonna break the value. I don't know, but we'll give it a shot. So thanks to our raptors for helping us out. All right, well, without further ado, I'm gonna check the value of this thing with Steven. Hopefully it's still good. I don't know if the size actually went down or if it's just a visual bug like it used to be, but we're gonna go ahead and check with Steven and see how much our sugar glazed donut is worth. So Steven, what would you give me for this thing today? Okay, yeah, I think the size stayed the same because this is worth 209 billion, which is actually really good for missing some of the mutations like paradisal and also ceramic. If we did get all of the admin mutations on this thing, I think it would have been close to 1 trillion or even passing 1 trillion, and we could have even gotten it bigger. But yeah, this is actually a pretty good price for the sugar glazed donut, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in 7 mooncats here instead of the 8 that we used to do, because we're going to throw in a triceratops because this guy will speed up the growth of our plant and then also help us get a huge plant combined with the mooncats. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and place our sprinklers down next. So we do have this new Grand Master sprinkler, and this should give us some pretty fast growth and some good mutations and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this OP Grand Master sprinkler down. It covers almost the entire garden. We're gonna put a master sprinkler underneath that. Then we're gonna put our godly sprinkler in there, advanced sprinkler, and then our basic sprinkler. And within all that, we're gonna put our grand tomato plant down. So our grand tomato plant is now growing. We have some mooncats on it, and then our triceratops should target it and make it grow a lot faster. And we should hopefully get a pretty big grand tomatoes. I'm gonna water it just a little bit more just to keep it sprouting up a little bit faster. There we go. It's at 10% now, 11. I'm gonna quickly trowel this over here in between these mooncats. Wow, this thing is going to be big. That only went up another 10%. This is crazy. Oh, okay, that triceratops just hit it, and now it's actually at 96%. So whenever this next one hits it, we might get our first sets of tomatoes to actually grow in. All right, it's fully grown now. So now our grand tomato plant is done and it's fully grown in. Now we just gotta wait for the fruits. Now our next triceratops right here is about to smack it. So we'll see if it gets us some pretty big fruits. Oh my, okay. Those are pretty big tomatoes. All right, our grand tomatoes are now fully grown in, and it looks like our gold one here is going to be the biggest one from what I can tell. That one has 7.5 studs going across the top, and then this one only has, like we said, 7, and then this one's only about 6. So yeah, I think we have our winner here, which is this gold one. So I'm gonna go ahead and favorite that. We're gonna pick up the other ones that are in here. All right, well, we do have gold on it, but gold does not count towards getting rainbow, and we do need 5 mutations total, but gold is not even considered 1 when we're trying to get rainbow with the butterfly. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're going to apply pollinated to it. I guess we'll apply wet to it because that's like a free one there. Shock, chocolate, and then I also have this extra windstruck spray, which you don't really need because I have pterodactyls, so I'm going to go ahead and spray that. And there we go. We have 5 mutations that we can use now, and we're going to spawn in a queen bee and a butterfly. So the queen bee's cooldown is about 7 minutes shorter than the butterflies. The queen bee will cool down our butterfly, convert all these mutations to rainbow, and then we can start getting the other mutations. All right, and then over here on my main account, I'm going to go ahead and spawn in my queen bee and my kitsune. They were spawned in, but I have to reset the timers so then they line up with our grand tomato after it gets rainbow, and that way this will be a little bit closer in sync. So once we get rainbow on it, we can get chakra applied right away. All right, well, we have about 2 minutes left for our queen bee's cooldown to be done to convert our grand tomato here to rainbow, but we just got a nighttime event, so I'm really hoping that these 2 minutes go fast and that we can get this thing to rainbow so then we can get our grand tomato to turn moonlit. That way we don't have to wait around for our tanukis to give us moonlit or for another night event. All right, our queen bee's cooldown is done. Our butterfly is now being cooled down, and we will take 5 of these mutations, well, pretty much all of them at this point, and then we'll turn our grand tomato into rainbow. There we go. Our grand tomato, which is huge by the way, is now rainbow. So we can go ahead and pick up our butterfly, pick up our queen bee. Oh, there we go. Perfect. We got moonlit added to our grand tomato right away. So I'm going to go ahead and favorite this now so I don't accidentally pick it up. Let's go down our sprays. We're going to go ahead and apply shock to this. Pollinated. We're going to go ahead and apply wet as well so we can use our kappas to turn that to bloodlit. We're going to apply chocolate. Then we're also going to apply a honey sprinkler so we can get honey glazed. And our kitsune just stole it from my main account, so that should have applied chakra. So real quick, let's go ahead and check everything that we have here. So we have 8 mutations. I'm going to favorite that again real quick. And then on my main account, I'm going to apply the verdant spray mutation, and cloud touched. So I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in first 2 disco bees so we can try to get disco applied to it. We're gonna spawn in 1 pterodactyl so we can go ahead and get windstruck and hopefully twisted so we can get tempestuous. Go ahead and spawn in for now just 1 kappa to try to get this to turn bloodlit. We'll spawn in 1 cooked owl for cooked or burnt. We'll spawn in 1 chicken zombie for now for the zombified mutation. We'll also go ahead and spawn in our corrupted kitsune so we can get corrupted chakra, turn that into harmonized chakra. And then I guess finally we'll spawn in 1 of our scarlets for now. We do have verdant, but we do have a tranquil scarlet and a corrupted scarlet, so we need to try to get tranquil and corrupted. So I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in our tranquil scarlet here. Now we're up to 8 pets, so we have lots of mutations that we can look forward to getting, and now we just gotta wait around for them to do their things and for events to happen, and then we can start stacking up mutations on our grand tomato. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my toys here to boost some of our pets' cooldowns and also give us higher chances to get some of these mutations. So we're gonna go ahead and boost the corrupted kitsune to hopefully get corrupted foxfire chakra. Let's see. Okay, we only got 1 corrupt chakra. I don't even think he applied it to our big one. Yeah, no, all right, so we're still gonna have to wait for that, but that's fine. All right, let's go ahead and use this on our pterodactyl to try to get twisted done. Okay, we only got windstruck. We did not get tempestuous. We did not get twisted mixed with windstruck. Eventually, I can use our pterodactyl again and try to get our pterodactyl to apply tempestuous to like a carrot or something, and then use a T-Rex to eat it, and then spread it to our grand tomato here. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up our pterodactyl. For now, I am gonna use a raiju here to get static applied to our grand tomato. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do for that is I'm gonna go ahead and put a carrot down right here. We're going to apply shocked to it, and then we're going to spawn in our raiju, so he will eat this shocked carrot and then apply static to our grand tomato here. Oh, and I almost forgot, but to save some time here, since we did get corrupt chakra on one of our grand tomatoes, I am going to go ahead and pick up our corrupt kitsune here, and we're going to replace him with a spinosaurus so we can work on getting that corrupt chakra moved over. And that way, if any of our other pets get mutations applied to these smaller grand tomatoes, they should be able to just move it right over. All right, our raiju is running over to eat the shocked off this carrot, and then he's going to convert that to static and apply it to our grand tomatoes. There we go. The big one is instantly converted to static. That's good. So we don't have to use a Spinosaurus to move that over. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Raiju. And now we're going to introduce the new pet, which is the Spaghetti Sloth. And again, the Spaghetti Sloth every 14 minutes will go to a nearby fruit and does a cooking. And it will apply pasta sauce or meatball mutation. So we could probably get all 3 of these and actually get them all to our Grand Tomato, as they'll probably apply it to the smaller Grand Tomatoes. So we should be able to get 3 extra mutations on our Grand Tomato. All right, so let's go ahead and also use these medium toys here to see if our disco bees will apply disco. Okay, we got 1 to apply disco. Since this big guy here is favorited, I'm going to pick up these 2 disco bees, and I'm going to spawn in another Spinosaurus, so that way they can move those over. And that looks good for now. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for these guys to apply their mutations. I'm going to go AFK for a little bit while they do their work, and once we come back, we'll see what has happened. All right, so I just got back, and it looks like our Spinosauruses moved that corrupted chakra over, so now we have harmonized chakra, but that looks like that's the only thing that happened when we were gone. Now, we do have some other grand tomatoes that have grown in here. One is static. I can't really tell what these ones are. I know this one has disco on it, and this one seems to have tranquil on it. Oh, okay, so Kappa just used its conversion to make one of these Grand Tomatoes bloodlit, and we do have Tranquil on this Grand Tomato, so we can get those moved over. So, and we also did just get zombified on one of these Grand Tomatoes as well, so we can go ahead and get rid of our chicken zombies here, and we can go ahead and get rid of our Tranquil Scarlet and our Kappa, and then what we're going to go ahead and do after that is we're going to go ahead and spawn in our Corrupted Scarlet so we can get the Corrupt mutation done. All right, so I went ahead and used my main account to grow all of my Grand Tomatoes here, just so I can see what mutations we have. So yeah, we have quite a few on these Grand Tomatoes that we need to move over. This one doesn't have anything that we need, so I guess I can get rid of this static Grand Tomato up here. But these other 2, we have quite a few here. This one, we actually need everything on it to be moved over to our big Grand Tomato. We have Bloodlet, Disco, Meatball, and Pasta. We do need to get Sauce. That's the last one. And then we also have Zombified on this one. And then this one, we have Tranquil on it, which is pretty much the only one we need from that one. But in the meantime, we also need to wait for these polar bears to give us chilled so we can get that moved over to our big grand tomato, get that frozen. All right, we did just get chilled though, applied to grand tomato. So yeah, now literally everything on this grand tomato here needs to just get moved over to our big one. All right, let's see what our Spinosaurus eats and moves over. Okay, we got chilled and static. We didn't really need static again, but that's fine because now our big grand tomato here is frozen. And when our next Spinosaurus eats, we should be able to get Tranquil done and then one of these good mutations off of this. All right, so I just got back and it looks like we did get corrupt from our Scarlet. So that is awesome because usually that takes forever. So corrupt is done. We're going to go ahead and pick up our corrupted Scarlet then. And then we also looks like we got burnt on our grand tomato here. So we still need to wait for this corrupt, this bloodlet, burnt, and pasta to move over to our big grand tomato. But we did get zombified moved over and we did get meatball moved over. And then I guess the last thing we'll need to do is just make sure we can get tempestuous done. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do now to try and get tempestuous going is I'm going to plant the rest of these carrot seeds I have, and I'm going to spawn in some pterodactyls again and try to get tempestuous on one of these carrots or on one of these grand tomatoes. So once we have tempestuous, we can have our Spinosauruses move that over to our big grand tomato, and then we should pretty much be done with all the pet mutations. All right, let's see what our Spinosaurus converts over. Okay, we got Bloodlet, we already had Windstruck, and we already had Meatball, but we did get Bloodlet moved over to our big grand tomato. So now we just have to get Corrupt moved over, and then we have to get Burnt and Pasta moved over. But we're making some good progress. Our Pterodactyls will hopefully give us Tempestuous, so we can get that done and out of the way. We also have our Sloth here, who's hopefully going to apply sauce. Can we get that sauce done, please? So I don't know what happened in this area of the video, but I guess some of my footage did not get recorded, and my microphone was also muted. But pretty much what happened is my Spinosauruses did move over Burnt and Corrupt to the grand tomato, and then we also got Tempestuous from our pterodactyl on this carrot. So I was trying to explain that we're going to wait for my Spinosaurus to move that over to the grand tomato. Alright, so I just got back from being AFK, and we did get our Tempestuous moved over, but it looks like we still have not gotten sauce. Oh, we do have sauce on this grand tomato up here. So once this one is moved over, then we'll have all the pet mutations done. So I guess in the meantime, since we have everything else moved over, I'm going to grab these two grand tomatoes here. And then we'll leave the sauce one and we'll get that moved over to our big grand tomato. Editing Bandites here again. Sorry to butt in, but for some reason, I guess besides my recording not working fully, my brain was also not working because I already had sauce applied to my grand tomato. As you can see, I have the spaghetti mutation already done, which is sauce, pasta, and meatballs. So I don't know why I didn't realize that, and I don't know why I sat here waiting for sauce to get moved over. I don't know what was going on in my head. And there we go. We now have sauce on our grand tomato, which is all of our pet mutations done. So yeah, it looks like if you get all three of the spaghetti sloth mutations, it just converts to spaghetti, which is pretty cool. But in total, we have 19 mutations. But if we separate some of these, like Tempestuous, we'd have 20. Spaghetti would have about 23. Frozen would put us at 24. Harmonized Chakra would put us at 25. And that would be 25 total mutations on a grand tomato. Since we've been at this for a couple hours, I think it's been about 3 or 4 hours since I started this, we are just going to go ahead and pick up our grand tomato and try and see what we can get for all of these mutations on it. I'm hoping that we can get a good value with Steven today. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up our grand tomato here with all these mutations. Look how big this thing is too. This thing is humongous. So I think this should be worth quite a lot of money. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and walk over here to Steven, and we're going to check the value of our grand tomato. So what are we looking at today, Steven, with this grand tomato, which is technically has like 25 mutations on it? Okay, so this thing is worth 330 billion for this size and all of those mutations. I thought it might be a little bit more, like past the 500 billion mark, but that is still pretty good. I mean, look at this thing. This is humongous. All right, so before Brighter runs all the events, we actually have to get a pretty big pepper seed. So first off, what I'm going to do is actually place these sprinklers down. So we have a bunch of spice sprinklers. Then I'm going to do master sprinklers next to all of these. Then I'm going to also run up some basic sprinklers. And then we're going to go ahead and grow our dragon pepper seeds. I'm going to put one next to all of the sprinklers. And we're going to see what we get from this, if it actually makes a pretty big pepper. What we're looking for is the biggest dragon pepper that we can possibly get out of all of these. So we'll see what we get. We have some watering cans, so to speed this up, we're going to go ahead and water these. And it looks like we're gathering a little bit of an audience. Hello, welcome to the show. All right, there we go. The dragon peppers are sprouting, and they're actually sprouting really quick. All right, so these are actually pretty big ones. I don't know which one looks to be the biggest so far. Let me see. Maybe this one. Oh, no, this one right here. Definitely this one. So this one's pretty big. It's not as big as I was hoping we would get, but it's decent enough that I'm going to go ahead and keep this. So we have our dragon pepper here. Now, Brighter is going to go crazy and pretty much run every single possible event that he can. All right, he said event time. Let's do it. Bet. All right, here we go, boys. We're about to get every event possible from Brighter. Thank you so much, Brighter, for doing this. All right, here we go. We got the black hole event to hopefully get void touched on this thing, and in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these other dragon peppers. All right, we got the black hole going. Let's see if any of these get void touched. I'm hoping that this big one does. We gotta get void touched on the big guy. Oh, it looks like we're getting some more events. We got bloodlet on here. Okay, he's just gonna go crazy and do all of them. All right, we didn't get any void touch, surprisingly. Oh, but we are getting a meteor strike. Okay, this is the new one. This is the admin only exclusive meteor strike. Oh, one just landed really close, but it didn't hit our dragon pepper head on. Come on. Come on, dude. We're getting, like, horrible luck right now. All these things are just missing completely. Come on. Let's get some meteors over here. All right, we got a tornado coming in for the possible twisted mutation. This thing's gonna have to come over here, though. Tornado, yo. Come on. Come over here. Come over here. Come on. Yeah. Closer. Closer. Come on. Just a little closer. Come on. Come on, buddy. Good, tornado. Come on. Come on in. Don't be shy. Come on over here. I have to move this over here real quick. Wait. Come on. Yo. Get over here. All right, I'm about to trowel this right into it. Go. Did I just miss that? Oh my, bro. How did I not get any of these? All right, so I said my luck is so bad, might need to run those again, and Brighter said bet, so we're about to get round 2 of all these. In the meantime, I'm gonna use these mutation sprays on this one, and we're gonna get chocolate on it. Or actually, that's pollinated, and then we're gonna get chocolate on it, so that way we can start racking up some of these mutations. We'll have to get the shocked mutation spray as well, but we'll do that in a minute. Volcanic eruption. Oh my, bro. Okay, so this is the new volcano event that you can get. We're gonna hope that one of these giant magma blocks hits our dragon pepper. So far, it's pollinated, it's chocolate, it's bloodlet, but none of the other things have hit, so we're just gonna have to wait. Oh, that one's about to touch. Yo, that one was so close. Did it touch? No, it didn't, and I accidentally just collected the one we just did all that to, the big one. All right, well. All right, we got chalk, bloodlet, void touched. All right, there we go. Now we got pollinated on it. All right. So now we got to get one of these to hit so we can get celestial on it. And then we're going to have him run back the other events he just did because our luck right now is completely terrible. I'm going to trowel this guy over here to the corner so he has a better chance to actually get hit by some of this stuff whenever we redo these events. It's like a trowel in between these 2 star crawlers, so both of them should be able to hit. That way it's in the corners, so we should get the other events to actually hit this. And in the meantime, while we do that, we actually have some pets here. So I'm gonna run up some disco bees to get this thing disco mutated. We also have some chicken zombies, so we're gonna try to use these to get the zombified mutation on this thing. All right, so he gave me some pretty OP pets. Jandel is here to laser the map. All right, he's lasering the map. Is he gonna come this way? He'll come this way. Buddy, look, man. Why do all these events only want to target the middle of the map? Hey, yo, Jandel, I need you to wake up and listen, man. Look, I'm over there. Do you not see that right there? Is it not possible for you to just hit that one right there? Please. I need your mutations. While he's doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a shocked mutated spray. That way I can go ahead and get this guy shocked so we don't have to wait for that. All right, there we go. We got pollinated, we got shocked. All right, we need this twister to head this way and all of these events to actually head over here now. All right, so I was literally AFK for a second because there was a roach attacking us. We got celestial and twisted on this one dragon pepper. I wanted it on this one, but this works too. All right, so we'll start working on this one then. We'll add some pollination onto that. We'll add some chocolate onto this. This should help with some disco. Oh, wait, one of them just got disco. Wait, this one got disco. Okay, so we can just get twisted to hit this one. It'll actually be better. All right, we have 2 very good ones right now, but one has twisted and one has void touch. So they're like split. It's split between them both for me right now. All right, hopefully these chicken zombies actually do what they're supposed to. What are the chances for this? So 22% chance. We have 3 of them. So that's like a 60% chance that one of these is going to get zombified in a second. Okay, one chicken zombie just went off, but he failed. This one failed. Come on, we got one more. We got one more. Come on. Come on, please. And failed. Okay. We're going to try to get gold on it instead in the meantime. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in these dragonflies. Now, I also forgot we do have to get honey glazed on this. So I'm going to go ahead and also sprinkle these honey sprinklers down. And hopefully this will help. Oh, wait, that was actually quick. We already got honey glaze. It only took like 1 sprinkler. All right, there we go. Our dragonfly finally put gold on this one. So now we are up to 10 mutations. We still got to get this wet to become frozen. And then we still need pretty much the rest of the admin events. But we're getting there. We made a lot of progress so far. Bro, no way this guy actually just stole this. All right, well... yeah, this dude just stole it, so that's awesome. So glad that he did that. So I'm gonna have to get disco on this one now and void touched. All right, we got another Jandel event happening, and this is actually making some good progress. So this one actually just got moonlit on it, and it does have twisted, which is harder to get, I think, than the void touch. We'll just wait for these events to keep spamming in, but we gotta get Jandel to hit this with plasma. All right, yo, we got plasma on the dragon pepper from that. All right, hopefully we can get volcanic, though. We need volcanic. Okay, that literally just, like, slammed on top of this thing, but I don't think that gave it volcanic, did it? Oh, yes, it did. We got molten. We got molten. That's another 2 down. All right, perfect. Bro said 37 Robux and literally looked at my dragon pepper. Bro, please have a heart. It was already stolen. I'll be so sad. All right, we're finally at peace in our own server, dude. I was starting to stress out after that guy stole. But anyways, this thing has now got wet on it. And once these polar bears do some more work, I mean, they only have like a minute cooldown. We should hopefully get frozen on this one. They're trying to apply it. Oh, let's go. He got chilled on this one. So now it is frozen officially. That is another one to check off the box. I'm going to pick up all of these polar bears, and I guess we'll go ahead and do the cooked owls for now. And then we'll try to get the disco bees back in. But I think we have some disco events queued. So cooked owls we'll prioritize for now. These guys take 15 minutes, and then hopefully we'll get some cooked. Now, these are only an 18.4% chance every 15 minutes. I mean, it can still get burnt, so we'll see what happens. All right, Brighter's back in. He's going to try and spam some more of the weather events for me to get the remaining admin mutations on this dragon pepper. My zombie chickens just failed at mutating, and also my disco bees just failed as well. They were close. All right, I'm just going to keep picking up these other dragon peppers just so I have a better chance to actually get my mutations on this. Because I've been at this for like nearly 3 hours and it's like 6 in the morning almost, and I should probably go to bed. Ryder's going to just hook me up. He's going to mutate this plant and just give me all the mutations on it at this point, since that's what I've been working for. Because, bro, the RNG I'm getting right now is actually insane, and I can't actually get anything good. Brighter is going to help me. He's going to just mutate this thing for me, and we're going to check the value, all right? We're going to get all the mutations on it. So, here we go. As the void touch is going, I'm going to pick this up in 3, 2, 1. All right, we have it. All right, so he's gonna work his magic. He's gonna bless this thing. Let me, where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is it, but for some reason it just like broke, and now it's really tiny, probably because it has all the mutations on it, but this is the one. All right, so now he just worked some magic, and this one has literally every single mutation in the game. As you can see pollinated, celestial, moonlit, heavenly, bloodlit, plasma, honey glaze, frozen, gold. There's pretty much no more commas because it can't display the rest of the mutations on this. So this is my pepper with every single mutation. Thank you, Brighter, for helping me. I know this was like a lot of work to do. And let's see how much this dragon pepper with every single mutation in the game is now worth. So this one plant is worth 1.7 billion, but if we sell this single plant, it is 1.7 billion, and there we go. I thought it would honestly be a little bit more than that. That is still a lot of money. I mean, we got every mutation on that thing, so thanks, Spreader, for the help. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and spawn in some mooncats here. So we got 8 mooncats that we can spawn in, so we can start getting progress on getting a big, beautiful maple apple tree. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and place all of our sprinklers down here. So we're gonna get a master, godly, advanced, and basic, and then we're gonna put our maple apple right in there. And look at that, it's all rainbowy up here, so it looks like we might have a pretty big tree. To save some time, we're gonna go ahead and hit that grow all button on my main account. And oh, look at this, we got a sandstorm, so we might as well hurry up and do this. All right, we're in, and there we go. We have some maple apples. Now, these don't look very big. This one looks decent, but some of these don't look as big as I thought we might be able to get this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up these, and I guess we'll give it a look and see how they regrow. But I'm going to go ahead and put some more sprinklers down, and we're going to try to get this thing to grow a little bit better. We want these mooncats to hopefully affect this as much as possible. We want to get a big maple apple. Now, we do have a pretty decent sized one here, but I think we could do better than that. I think we could definitely get a bigger one to show up. All right, we have a lot of mooncats right here. I think what I'll do is I'll trowel this into the sleeping mooncats if they all pile in a certain area. Let me move that into that circle. All right, yeah, they're kind of all piling around in different spots. They're not like just in one area. Okay, let me try right here in between these two, or actually maybe even right here because there's a few of them right here. All right, and hopefully that helps. All right, I'm gonna hit the grow all button again just to see if anything changes, see if we get any big ones. So let's just YOLO it. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's better. That's definitely better. That's this one is pretty big. All right, so we can go ahead and pick up these other ones then. Yeah, look at this. We thought this was gonna be decent. I think this one's a lot better. Dude, what is going on? We're getting all these events, but we're not ready yet. We still gotta get this thing rainbow. All right, we're gonna pick up all of our mooncats. We're gonna try and go through this quick. So let's go ahead and get our sprays done. Actually, let's go ahead and get that queen bee ready to get the cooldowns ready. Let's get the butterfly ready to get that cooldown ready, and then let's get these sprays done on our maple apple. So we're gonna go ahead and put pollinated on this. We're gonna put chocolate on that. We're gonna put a cloud touched, shocked, and then we will do honey glazed with the honey sprinkler. And there we go. That will be our 5 mutations. All right, so I was stupid and accidentally picked up my queen bee, so I've been sitting here waiting for my butterfly. But to speed this up, I guess, a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and give my butterfly this toy, which will speed up the cooldown, and now our butterfly will give us rainbow. So it's like the same thing, but yeah, you won't notice any difference here, but yeah, I had to wait a little bit longer because I'm stupid and dumb. All right, so just like that, our maple apple is now rainbow. So we can go ahead and pick up that butterfly. We're good. We have this mutation done. All right, so now we can go ahead and apply our sprays to this thing again. So we're gonna put our chocolate back on it, pollinated, shocked, cloud touch. We're gonna go ahead and put our honey sprinkler back down to get honey glaze back onto it. And then on our main account, we're going to apply amber onto it. I did that from over there. I got snipes, I guess. But now amber's back onto it. Now, my main account has some chilled sprays we're going to use, but we're going to wait on that because we're going to try to get this thing to get ceramic first. So to do that, we need wet and then sandy to get clay, and then we'll need to get sun-dried to turn that into ceramic. So we're going to wait a little bit, and we're going to not apply the chill just yet. We're going to do frozen after we get ceramic. So now we're going to start focusing on the rest and applying some more with our pets. So I have some disco bees here. Now, I know people are going to be like, Bandites, you can just use the new disco spray. Well, there's no spray merchant, and I don't have the disco spray, okay? So I'm going to be using disco bees to hopefully get us disco mutation on our maple apple. And then I'm going to be using the cooked owls, same thing here, to hopefully get burnt or cooked since I don't have those sprays as well. We're going to go ahead and use some chicken zombies, and then we're going to spawn in 1 scarlet. Actually, we're going to hold off on the scarlet for now and not get verdant on this just yet because we're going to try to get ceramic first, and if we have verdant, that sun-dried will just convert to paradisal. So we're going to wait on this guy, but we are going to spawn in 2 sea turtles so we can get this maple apple, the wet mutation. And after we get the wet mutation, that should help us get this turned to clay, and then, yeah, we could go through that getting ceramic. Our luck today is a little bit better than it's been the last few videos. We have another aurora happening, so hopefully we can get the aurora mutation on our maple apple. Oh, look at that. Just like that, the sea turtle already applied wet to our maple apple, so that's quick and easy. We can go ahead and pick up these guys then, and I guess we'll spawn in another disco bee and another, I guess we'll do another chicken zombie for the time being. Oh, I just saw something happen. Did we get it? Oh, let's go. We got Aurora. All right, this is actually going a lot better today than it has been. I think the update of increasing the events really helped. So we are up to 9 mutations on our maple apple, including Aurora, which is awesome. We're going to wait for these pet mutations to hopefully take effect. We got our disco bees and our cooked owls that will be applying some mutations soon. All right, our disco bees always seem to be the first pet to apply their mutations, but anyways, let me go ahead and unfavorite this real quick. But as you can see, we now have the disco mutation on our maple apple, so it's starting to look pretty good. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is pick up these disco bees carefully without picking anything else up, as I've done in the past, as we all know now. And I'm going to go ahead and spawn in another cooked owl or two. Let's see. I guess I'll do another cooked owl. And I will spawn in another chicken zombie. So hopefully we can get these 2 mutations done. And then we just really got to get Verdant after that, but we're going to wait for Verdant just for a little bit. We want to wait until we get this thing, hopefully ceramic first, and then we'll focus on Paradisal. All right, so we have some of our cooked owls here that are about to finish their cooldowns, which is good. And with that, we also have a Zen event about to start. Oh, well, they're targeting the big one, but they're failing. What about the other one? Targeted the big one, but fail. Okay, that's very sad. Our chicken zombies are almost cooled down as well. At least 2 of them are almost done. And then we have another one that'll be done in a few minutes. And we're gonna see the Zen Aura event happen in a second, which will help us get Tranquil on our maple apple here, which will be another mutation added on. All right, so we got our first little Tranquil beam coming over here. Let's see which one it hits first. All right, there we go. Our big one is mutated to Tranquil, so that's a really easy one to get, and that's just some extra multiplier for us to work with. Oh, let's go. Thank you, cooked owls. You guys, I love you so much. You're so nice to me today. All right, well, there we go. Now we have burnt on our big maple apple here, so we're stacking up some good mutations. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up these cooked owls now then. Get these guys out of the way. We have another chicken zombie almost ready, so hopefully he does what the cooked owls did and target. I'm gonna spawn in another chicken zombie, and we'll spawn in a mimic octopus to mimic those guys to give us even more opportunities. All right, we have a windy event, which I was hoping for, and I'm gonna go ahead and travel our plant, I guess, over here, because for some reason these corners over here always help get windstruck on our plants faster. Okay, the event ended. Let's see if we got any windstruck added. Oh, we did. Dude, I don't know why this corner is blessed right here. If you need windstruck, move your plants like right here. It seems to always work to get us windstruck. All right. I forgot that they re-added frost into the game, which if we get chilled, which because our plant is already wet, we might get it frozen, which we don't want right now, which is going to be very unfortunate. We have wet, and I probably should have waited. I completely forgot that they re-added frost. The only reason I added wet was in case a sandstorm came by, we could have gotten sandy, which would have made this turn instantly to clay. But I didn't count the fact that if a frost storm comes by, we can get frozen. We don't want frozen yet, because once we get frozen, we pretty much, I don't think, can get ceramic. Actually, you know what? We probably can. I think if we get sandy, we could apply wet again. So this actually isn't the end of the world. It would just get us frozen earlier, which we didn't really want yet. All right, well, yeah, we now have frozen on our maple apple. Honestly, that is fine. We'll just keep frozen on there. Either way, we can still get ceramic, I believe. We just have to wait for a sandstorm now, and once this is sandy, we can add wet to it to get clay. Okay, it looks like one of our chicken zombies just applied Zombified to our maple apple. Yep, there it is. We are good, which means we pretty much have every pet mutation done. We still gotta wait for Twisted, which is technically a pet mutation now, I guess. But that will get this thing to Tempestuous. And then once we have that, we also need to get Verdant, which is also a spray or a pet mutation. All right, so I have literally been in a Discord call with one of my friends for like 6 hours talking, waiting for more mutations to get applied. We did end up getting moonlit to this, but we had a sandstorm twice and did not get sandy. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just apply scarlet to this maple apple so we can get verdant on it. So I'm going to spawn in 3 scarlets and a mimic octopus just so we can make sure we get that verdant mutation, and that will turn sun-dried into paradisal. So there we go. We have all these pets set, and some of them actually have some of our buffs still added onto them. And while they focus on getting that sun-dried to turn into paradisal, over here on my main account, shout out to my friend Cole or Azook. He actually is letting me borrow his kitsune for this video so I can try to get chakra and foxfire chakra on my maple apple. And if I can get those two, that should be some extra good mutation buffs. So I have a queen bee spawned in my main account garden in there, and I'm going to go ahead and use that queen bee with the kitsune to see if I can get both foxfire and regular chakra on my plant. So apparently the kitsune actually applies it to your plant, and then it steals it and gives it to your other account. So I should be able to get 2 of these maple apples with all these mutations on it, and it should be pretty good overall. Okay, well, it looks like we're about to finally wrap things up here, and we finally got Sandy applied to our maple apple after literally hours and multiple sandstorm events. So we technically could get this up to ceramic now, but I don't know if I really want to wait around for another heat wave event to happen, because I have been at this for like 8 hours today trying to get this one to be good for you guys. So I think we're just going to keep Sandy. That way we have that mutation on there, and then if we can get foxfire chakra and regular chakra, that should make up for that ceramic mutation, and at least we still have Sandy on it. All right, my main account's kitsune is coming over here to attack our maple apple. Okay, and it says kitsune applied chakra, so it looks like my main account is getting one of these, and let's just go ahead and check. Yeah, there we go. Now we have chakra on this. We did not get foxfire chakra, but we do have the regular chakra on this, and in total we do have 18 mutations on our maple apple. We could turn this Sandy into ceramic. We could have turned this windstruck into tempestuous, and we could also get foxfire chakra and celestial. So there's a few things that we could have combined for better mutation chances, and it would have really helped us in the end to get a little bit more money value out of this. But overall, I think this is a pretty good maple apple, and I'm very happy with it with how many mutations we actually got today. Let's go ahead though and pick up our maple apple and check the value. All right, so here it is. Here's our big maple apple with all of these mutations on it. It looks insane with all the electricity and everything on it. I'm gonna go ahead and favorite it as well, just so I don't accidentally ever sell it. And we're gonna check with Steven. So Steven, what is the value of our maple apple with all 18 of these mutations on it? This maple apple is worth 197 billion, and I can only imagine that this would have been past 400 billion or so if we were actually got celestial, foxfire, chakra, and a couple of those other mutations mixed together. With those admin mutations, I think this would have been very, very good. But for that many mutations on it, that is still pretty good. I do wish our maple apple was a little bit bigger, but overall, I'm very happy with that price. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get our sprinklers ready here. So let's go ahead and put a master sprinkler down, godly, advanced, and basic, and we'll go ahead and put our Tranquil bloom down right here, and there we go. We're all set up. All right, so a bunch of people in the comments have been yelling at me to start using a triceratops with the mooncat so I can get better growth and stuff for my plants. So fine, dude, I'll do it. Okay, I have a couple of them in my inventory here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up one of our mooncats. I'll pick up this guy who's all the way over here, not even making an effort. Mr. Samster, you're gone, buddy. All right, and then we're gonna place our triceratops down, and our triceratops every 3 minutes run into 3 random plants and advance their growth by 33 minutes. All right, so our Tranquil bloom's only at 6%. Let's see our triceratops. Let's see how much it advances the growth. Hopefully it just makes us get 100% right away. I think it might. I think it should be that quick. Let's see. Triceratops, go ahead and ram that Tranquil bloom for us. Thank you. Bah! That only got us another 50%, but we wait for him to do it again, then this thing will be done. I mean, that was already half of it. All right, Triceratops is about to smack this again. This should, I think, grow it to full. Let's see. No, it's only at 82%. I think I'm just gonna wait for a minute here and let him finish up. So we'll come back in just a second and see what kind of fruits we can get. Okay, so I literally just got back from AFK, and I see something going on here. Oh my gosh, dude. Look how gigantic our Tranquil blooms are. I think we're going to use this one for today and try to get every mutation on this big guy here. So I'm going to go ahead and put our sprays on it. So let's do, it already has Tranquil on it. So we'll go ahead and add pollinated to it. And then we'll add chocolate to it. And shock, that should be 4 mutations. And then we'll do honey glazed, and that should be 5. Go ahead and add that here. That should be 5 mutations. And we're going to go ahead and spawn in our queen bee to get its cooldown recharged. We're going to spawn in our butterfly. And that way we can get this big Tranquil bloom here to rainbow. The queen bee will cool down our butterfly, and the butterfly will take all 5 mutations currently on this big Tranquil bloom and convert that to rainbow. On our main account over here, we are also going to spawn a queen bee to start a cooldown process here with our kitsune, so that way we can get chakra instantly added to our big Tranquil bloom as soon as it's done with getting rainbow. So let's wait for this thing to turn rainbow. I'm going to get these other ones out of the way for now so we can actually see what we're working with, and then that way our kitsune over here will only target the big Tranquil bloom. So I will be right back. All right, in less than a minute, our queen bee will cool down our butterfly and convert all of these mutations to rainbow. And with that, I did clean up the other big Tranquil bloom, so we're down to just this big one here. Oh, and look at that. Perfect timing. We just got frost to spawn in. Okay, queen bee is done. Butterfly is going in. And our big Tranquil bloom is now rainbow. So now we can go ahead and pick up our queen bee and our butterfly, and then we're going to go ahead and favorite this big guy so we don't accidentally pick him up. And with that, we're going to add some sprays onto him. We're going to pollinate it. We're going to put chocolate on it. We're going to put shocked on it. And then we're going to put our honey glaze sprinkler on it. All right. And then over here on our main account, we're going to have our main account apply the cloud touch spray on it. And my main account doesn't have any more amber sprays at the moment, so we're not going to do that for right now. But the kitsune is also coming over here to steal our big Tranquil bloom. He just walked through it. Okay, yeah, he took the big one. There he goes. We now have 7 mutations on our Tranquil bloom, including chakra from the kitsune. I'm going to go ahead and favorite this again. And we're going to go ahead and try and get our kappas here to add wet and then get bloodlet on this before we get this thing to turn frozen. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to spawn in 2 kappas. That's 1. That's 2. And then we're going to spawn in 2 disco bees for now. So I guess we'll do 1 cooked owl for now, and then we'll do 1 chicken zombie as well. We're going to spawn in a pterodactyl to try and get windstruck, but also hopefully get us twisted so we can get tempestuous out of the way. And then finally, let's go ahead for now and spawn in a corrupted kitsune, so this guy can give us the corrupted chakra mutation on this big guy here, and then maybe also give us corrupted foxfire chakra. And we have a sandstorm. Now we just had 1 sandstorm go by, so hopefully this one's a little bit more lucky. I guess what I'll go ahead and do then is travel this over here, because this is the lucky corner. That's literally almost going into my main account's garden, by the way. This is about to touch my main account. All right, but we'll see if this helps to get sandy at all. Wait a second. Is this the spray merchant? No way, the spray merchant's here. All right, I'm going to buy some of these just so I can make sure I have them. I wish the spray merchant sold the amber mutation, but he doesn't. Did we get sandy at all? No, we did not get sandy. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, because we have these kappas that will give us the wet mutation, to save a little bit of time, though, I'm going to go ahead and keep that favorited, but I'm going to spray it with wet, just so that way this thing is already wet. And oh, and it's nighttime. But that way this thing will be wet, and then these kappas can hopefully just convert that to bloodlet a little bit faster. So I'm glad it's nighttime. This actually helps. I can save some time with the tanukis later, so I don't have to wait for them to get this thing moonlit. This should hopefully get us moonlit pretty quickly. Normally we get it pretty fast. I don't have any night staffs though, is the only problem. But I guess we don't need it, because look at that, we just got moonlit. The events tonight are actually going crazy. We're getting everything that we need. Wow, are we getting lucky? All right, so now we have a meteor shower. We'll hopefully be able to get celestial added onto this. We do have our star crawler pretty close to this, so that should affect it. Let me see. So our cooked owl is about to do something. Let's see if we get burnt. Okay, that failed. That's fine. We'll just wait for the next round of that. Our pterodactyl is about to apply. Oh, did that just give us celestial? I think so. It just flickered. Let's see. Yep, we got celestial. Perfect. We're doing good today. We're getting lucky with these events. It's like the first time we're getting this many events. All right. All right, let's see what he does. Okay, he's doing something. Oh, wait. Okay, he applied windstruck and twisted to tranquil bloom. Let's see if it's the correct one, though. Tempestuous. Let's go, dude. He did it to the right one. All right, so our luck today is actually really good. I think last video our luck was really bad, and now it's just like the game likes us. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this pterodactyl here, and he is good. We don't need that guy anymore. All right, I guess for now, since we have that extra spot, I will spawn in another chicken zombie to hopefully get zombified out of the way. Ah, perfect. Applied. All right, so that's another mutation done. We can go ahead and pick up our disco bees. And I think what I'm going to go ahead and do now is actually spawn in my scarlet macaws here to get verdant. We did just buy some verdant sprays on my main account, but I'm going to save them for now because these guys should be able to give us verdant. And we do have a Tranquil Scarlet and a Corrupted Scarlet. So we should be able to get verdant, Tranquil, and Corrupted. If we don't get Tranquil or Corrupted, we'll at least get one of them in the event within the next 20 minutes should be the next one. Anyways, let's go ahead and do a quick check here. So we are now up to 12 mutations on our Tranquil Bloom. Tempestuous technically is like 2 mutations, so I guess we'd be up to 13. All right, a bunch of our pets are about to finish their cooldowns, including our Corrupted Kitsune, both of our Scarlet Birds, and our Chicken Zombie here is almost done, and our Cooked Owl. So we might have a lot of mutations get applied, or we might have a lot of fails. I guess we'll wait and see. All right, so I think these guys are first going to do their verdant attempts. Let's see if we get verdant, so we don't have to use that spray. That would be nice. We could save it. Okay, verdant is applied, but I don't know if that was the right one. Burnt failed, and Corrupt Chakra was just applied, but that was not Foxfire Corrupt Chakra, but we still got that applied. So let me just go ahead and double check here. Okay, yeah, so we got Verdant, then we got Corrupt Chakra and regular Chakra, so now we have Harmonized Chakra. And yeah, Verdant actually went pretty quick the other day. It was taking forever, so that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply Shocked to this little guy here, and I'm going to let my Raju here spawn in, and then he should target this, eat it, and then eventually apply Static to our big Tranquil Bloom. All right, our Cooked Owl just applied the Burnt mutation to our Tranquil Bloom here. So we now have Burnt added onto there. I'm going to make sure I keep this favorited, though, because I don't want our Raju over here to eat our big Tranquil Bloom. Raju is about to add Static to our big Tranquil Bloom. It's about to eat it. And last time I thought it ran my pockets, but it actually gives you money. And it actually did give me money. Okay, I didn't know that because last time I was saying that it ran my pockets and then ate my fruit. But no, it actually gives you money and then it just eats one of your fruits. So you guys in the comments are right. I'm sorry that I'm stupid and dumb and stupid. Our Tranquil Bloom here now has Static applied to it and Burnt from those 2 mutations from our Cooked Owl and from our Rajus. Tranquility. All right. Well, I guess with that, Cappy here becomes completely useless because this is about to mutate this big guy into Tranquil. All right, that should be in. Yep, there we go. Our big guy is now Tranquil. So I can actually go ahead and just get rid of Cappy because we already have Verdant and Tranquil. So now this guy's useless. But our Corrupted one here, Molly, maybe, just maybe, will give us Corrupted so we don't have to wait another hour for that event to come by. Okay, so a heat wave just spawned in and our tanning mirror just got smacked by a heat wave beam, which means that our Tranquil Bloom is now actually Paradisal, which just upgraded our Verdant, and now we have a better multiplier. All right, our chicken zombies officially applied Zombified to our Tranquil Bloom finally. So we have Zombified out of the way. So we can go ahead and pick up all of our chicken zombies here. And now it's pretty much just down to these two. Either our Scarlet will give us Corrupted or we'll just wait for the event to happen within the next 40 minutes. And our Kappas just need to get us Bloodlet. And then besides that, we just really need a Sandstorm and Aurora. But this thing is looking good. It should be pretty expensive. I'm hoping for over $1 trillion today for this thing. We should make some good money, I would think. I mean, look at the size of this, dude. All right, it is the hour mark, which means we now have a Corrupted event. It does go back and forth, so now it's Corrupted. Earlier it was Tranquil, but I don't know if we got Bloodlet at all, so I'm gonna go ahead and unfavorite this and see. And no, but our Wet turned into Drench, so I don't know if these guys can actually give us Bloodlet if it's Drenched instead of Wet. I mean, Drenched is pretty much the same thing as Wet. It's just like a little bit of a better version of Wet, but I don't know if they will affect that and give us Bloodlet anymore. At the same time, though, overall, we're still doing pretty good. I mean, this thing has 18 mutations on it, and again, if you separate some of these, like Tempestuous would be up to 19, Paradisal would be up to 20, and then Harmonized Chakra would be up to 21. So yeah, we have quite a lot of mutations on this thing. I do really want to get Bloodlet, but I don't know if we can anymore because we don't have Wet. We only have Drenched. All right, well, we've been at this for a few hours, and these kappas have been placed as the first pet today, and have been sitting here for hours, and we still don't have bloodlet, not even on these fruits over here that are wet. So I think at this rate, because we've been waiting and there's still no bloodlet, and I don't even know if they can get drenched to bloodlet, we're gonna go ahead and apply the chilled mutation to this for my main account. So now this thing can be frozen instead of drenched, and now we are up to 18 mutations still, but if you separate everything, it would be up to 22 total mutations. So pretty much all we'd really need at this rate, besides bloodlet, we didn't get that. We would just need Aurora, and then we'd need Sandy, so we could turn Sandy into ceramic. And then we'd pretty much have all of the legit mutations. Now, the one that we also are technically missing is Amber, but we have a shot at trying to get Amber whenever we pick this thing up, because we have our Raptors here. So we are going to pick this thing up and check the value with Steven, and hopefully our Raptors actually help us out and possibly give us Amber. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this big Tranquil bloom, and we're going to check the value with Steven. All right, let's check it. And it's really hard to tell if it has amber. It doesn't look like the outer ice is the amber color, and I think it probably would have notified us if it was amber. I mean, this thing is huge, dude. I think we're not going to have any issues with pricing for today. I think this thing is going to definitely be worth. Let's go ahead and without further ado, check the value with Steven and see how much our Tranquil bloom is worth. So Steven, what are we looking at? I'm hyped for this one. Only 163 billion, actually, for this giant Tranquil bloom with all of these mutations on it. I feel like this one should have been worth a lot more from how big the sizing was on it. I feel like the price for this thing is a little nerfed, and it probably needs a little bit of a buff for it being in the top 3 values of fruits in this game. But I think they are trying to crack down and nerf some of the values of fruits on this game, because some of them are very expensive and they grow huge. Because of that, you can see like my main account, I've had some really big fruits and I'm over 1 quadrillion on it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. Let's go ahead and get our sprinklers ready, just like we always do. We got the master sprinkler, the advanced, basic, and godly, and then we're gonna go ahead and place this down inside of all those. We're gonna spawn in our moon cat so we can hopefully get a pretty big ember lily. And there we go. So our ember lily's only at 0%. Oh, it's at 1% now. It's speeding up. So I am gonna use some watering cans for this to try and help and get this thing growing fast. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the value of this thing will be once we get every single mutation on it. And then if you want, you could edit your comment at the end of the video and see if you are close. All right, our ember lily is growing. It's actually growing a lot faster than I thought it would, so that's good for us. The other thing is too, we have windy going on right now, which would be perfect if this thing was already grown and already had rainbow on it. All right, there we go. Our ember lily is grown. Now, the plant itself is looking pretty small, but we could still get a pretty big flower at the top, and I hope we do. I really hope we do. All right, so we're just going to give it a little bit to grow, and we'll see what kind of ember lily we get. We'll see what the size of it is. We have all these moon cats, and a bunch of them just napped right next to it, plus all the sprinklers. I think we're going to have a good-sized ember lily, and it's growing. I think that's a pretty good size. We'll see if it expands anymore. Oh, it's growing upwards. Okay, so that might be our size then. That might be it. Actually, you know what? This one doesn't look that big. I am going to go ahead and delete it, and then let's see if we can get a bigger one. I really want this to be a big ember lily. All right, so I'm going to see if this one grows into be a decent size. It might be still pretty small, but it does look like this one's gold again. I wish gold would actually matter for this. I wish it would count as one of the 5 mutations that we need to get rainbow, but since it doesn't, we do have all of our sprays in line, and we will be using those in just a second. This might be as big as it's going to get because our mooncats be struggling today. All right, this thing has progressed pretty nicely. It looks a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I think we got a pretty good-sized ember lily. Now, to save some time, I'm bringing out the big guns, and we're going to be hitting the grow all button. Sometimes we got to use bow bucks to get some good end results, and if you want to help support these videos so I can spend more bow bucks, you can always check out the Bandites merch. You could buy it in my Roblox group. The links are in the description, and you can look as handsome as I do. All right, but I'm bringing the main account me over here to grow all so we can get that ember lily looking nice, okay? And there we go. Our ember lily is grown. We saved a little bit of time. This is still not as big as I was hoping it would be, but it's a pretty decent size overall. Now we're going to go ahead and pick up our moon cats. I really wish this ember lily was bigger than this, but I guess this is the size we're going to go with. I think this is decent, but all right, we're going to go ahead and use all of our spray mutations here. So let's do a chocolate spray on this thing. We're going to save the cloud touch. We'll do pollinated. We'll do shocked, and we'll save the amber one. So we'll do 1 chilled, and that is 5 mutations, but gold does not count towards getting rainbow. So instead, we're going to use a honey sprinkler to get this honey glazed. And there we go. Now we have the 5 mutations that'll actually count. So we go ahead and spawn in our queen bee and a butterfly. Now, some people were asking me in the comments if the queen bee only cools down the butterfly, and no, the queen bee just cools down whatever pet has the longest cooldown currently. So since we only spawn in these 2, the longest cooldown is always going to be the butterfly, so it saves us about 7 or 8 minutes in the end, so we can get this thing rainbow a little bit faster. And again, the butterfly does need 5 mutations, and gold does not count. So these are the 5 we have: shock, chocolate, honey glaze, pollinated, chilled, and that will convert those into rainbow. But anyways, now we gotta wait for these guys to do their thing, get this thing rainbow, so we can't really do much until then. So I'll see you guys in literally like 2 seconds when this is about to be rainbow. All right, it's time for the stuff to happen. The queen bee is going to cool down our butterfly, and our butterfly is now going to get this thing rainbow, and we say bye-bye to the gold mutation that we have. And just like that, our Ember Lily loses all these, but we get rainbow. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick these guys up now, and then we're gonna go ahead and reapply all of our spray mutations. So we got pollinated, we got shocked. We also have amber, which people did tell me if you wait like 24 plus hours, you can get old amber, and then there's another variant of amber, but we don't have that kind of time. But I am gonna spray amber on there. We have chocolate, and then we have chilled, and then we're also going to go ahead and put honey glazed on as well. And just like that, we're already up to 7 mutations on this thing. So we're going to convert that chilled to frozen by using a sea turtle. So there's our sea turtle. You good, bro? He's stuck inside the fence. I hope he's okay. And then we're also going to try to get all of the pet mutations. So I'm going to spawn in a scarlet to get verdant. We're going to spawn in 2 chicken zombies to hopefully get this thing zombified. And we'll also spawn in 2 cooked owls. And finally, we'll spawn in 2 disco bees. So now we'll have a chance to get zombified, burnt, or cooked. Disco will get chilled to frozen once the sea turtle turns it wet. And then we can also get verdant on this, which will be good. So once we get a heat wave event, we can get paradisal on this Ember Lily. So far, we got a pretty good setup here. Now we just got to wait for these pets to do some stuff to give us these good mutations. And we got to wait for some events to happen. Hopefully, we'll get a windy event to spawn in again. And then hopefully we can get twisted, tropical rain, all that good stuff. You know what? I completely forgot one of our sprays. I forgot to put the cloud touch spray on this. There we go. So now we're actually up to 8 mutations. All right, our sea turtle just applied the wet mutation to our Ember Lily, so now it is officially frozen. We can go ahead and pick up our sea turtle, and I guess we'll go ahead and put another scarlet down so we can have double the chance to get verdant. So let's see what we get next. All right, hopefully this scarlet gives us the verdant mutation so we can get verdant before we get a heat wave. That way we can get paradisal, and I don't know if you can stack sun-dried with paradisal anymore. You used to be able to, but after this last update, I've noticed that you can't. All right, Scarlet, don't let me down. Let's get that verdant mutation done. Oh, let's go. He didn't let me down. I was like instant. All right, so now we have verdant. So we're set for a heat wave event. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up these scarlets. And then I guess because the chicken zombie usually takes the longest and the cooked owl, I'll go ahead and spawn in another cooked owl and another chicken zombie. And hopefully we get disco next. The disco bees are almost done with their cooldowns, and so are our original cooked owls. All right, let's see our luck with the cooked owls. Will we get burnt or cooked? We've never gotten cooked before, so that'd be cool to see. First cooked owl failed. What about the second one? All right, so just like that, we got zombified. Usually we get zombified last out of all of our pets, but this time we actually got it before we got disco or cooked / burnt. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up these chicken zombies here. I am gonna go ahead and spawn in 1 more cooked owl so we can have 4, and then we're gonna spawn in 2 extra disco bees so we can have 4 disco bees, and that will conclude all of the pet mutations. And then we just have to wait for some weather or any events to spawn in. But so far this thing is looking good with all of the pet mutations on it and some of the extra ones that we got from the sprays. Disco bee's going. Failed. What about the other disco bee? All right, other disco bee's going. And apply. There we go. Disco mutation is now done. So we just need to get these cooked owls to give us either cooked or burnt, and then we just gotta wait for events to happen. So I'm gonna pick up all of our disco bees since they're good. We're gonna max out on the cooked owls, which we only have 5 of them. And then I guess to help, we'll spawn in 2 queen bees to hopefully cool these guys down. Or maybe we'll stick with 1 queen bee, because if we have 2, it might cool down the other queen bee, since these cooked owls, their cooldown isn't that long. Oh, perfect. We got a windy event. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my sprinklers ready to hopefully help with this. We're going to put a master sprinkler down. We're going to put a godly sprinkler down, and we're going to put an advanced sprinkler down. The basic doesn't really help with mutations, and hopefully that'll help us get windstruck. Come on. Oh, we just missed our chance. All right, our cooked owl finally applied the burnt mutation to our ember lily, which means we are officially done getting every pet mutation that we possibly can get. I guess besides windstruck, since technically you can get that from the pterodactyl. But anyways, this ember lily is looking pretty good. We just need to get some event mutations on this. So hopefully we can get windy, heat wave, maybe some tropical rain, maybe some aurora. Ooh, it's nighttime. This is good. We can get moonlit, and we do have a night staff here. So hopefully we can get it to just channel us some moonlit mutation real fast, real quick, real nice. There we go. We got moonlit. Your night staff helped mutate a fruit. Thank you, night staff. Okay, I got excited for a second because I thought this was tropical rain, but it's regular rain, and we already have frozen. However, if we had sandy, I believe this would still help that sandy turn into clay, and then we could get it ceramic. But because we don't have sandy, this is kind of a pointless event to have. All right, we have another windy event, and we just got windstruck like literally instantly from this one. So I guess it only takes like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 windy events to get windstruck. But so far, this thing total has 14 mutations on it. I'm hoping we can get a couple more on this. All right, so we literally have 14 mutations on our ember lily, and we have been sitting here AFK for 3 hours, and literally the only event that has happened is windy and moonlit. Like, our event luck today is horrendous. So we're gonna go ahead and check the value of the ember lily with all the mutations that we currently have on it. I wanted to get more of the event mutations, but the event mutations are really difficult right now without Brighter's help, and hopefully we can get blessed by Brighter again soon. But for now, we're gonna move forward and check the value of this with Steven. So without further ado, I will pick up this ember lily, and here is our beautiful ember lily with all of the mutations that we got on it, all 14. I wish we could have got this bigger. I wish we could have gotten more mutations, but we are going to see what the value of this is with the mutations that we did get. So without further ado, I'm going to talk to Steven here, and let's see how much this thing is worth. So Steven, what would you give us for this? 23 billion, and this thing again only has 14 mutations on it. That is a lot of money for this that doesn't have all of the normal mutations we get, like all of the admin mutations. So what do you guys think? Was this worth it for those 14 mutations? What do you think the value would have been if we actually got every single mutation today, including the admin mutations? Started, and let's turn this basic boring garden into something special. So as you can see, we have some different seeds in our inventory here, and most of these have been either in the game before, or they were scrapped, or they're just completely not available to get, and they never were available to get. So first off, we have this soul fruit seed. Now this seed originally was obtainable through the exotic seed pack, but it was only a 1.5% chance to actually get it. So let's go ahead and plant this thing, and let's see what it looks like. I did actually receive some master sprinklers here as well, so we're gonna stack up and use some of these sprinklers to get this thing growing. I'm also gonna use a watering can on this. All right, there we go. There is our soul fruit. This thing looks kind of scary looking. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you guys actually have the soul fruit, because this one was obtainable through the exotic seed packs. All right, we gotta wait for some fruits to blossom, but this thing looks pretty nice. I definitely would like to add one of these to my actual Grow a Garden account. We'll just have to see what the fruits look like when they actually start growing in, though. All right, so while we wait for this soul fruit to grow, we're actually going to start growing the next seed, and that's actually the cursed fruit seed. Now, this seed was also obtainable in the exotic seed packs, but with a only 0.5% chance, making it harder to get than the soul fruit here. We're going to go ahead again and plant this across from our soul fruit. And let's go ahead and use our sprinklers here to try and get some nice fruits growing off of it. All right, there we go. Cursed fruit is growing. Let's go ahead and spam some watering cans on it. All right, and there we go. There's the plant for it. So this thing looks more of like a little bush instead of a tree, but this thing looks pretty cool. If this game is actually out during Halloween, I feel like the cursed fruit and soul fruit would have been fruits you would have only been able to get during like a Halloween event. Yeah, these things look a little bit more edgy compared to the regular fruits in the game. We also have to wait for this one to grow and to actually start sprouting some fruit, so we'll let it do that. But I actually really like the look of these two. All right, so we're gonna let those grow, and then next to it, we're gonna place down this here. It's called a candy sunflower seed. Now, no, this is not the new sunflower that just came out in the Busy Bees update. This was actually only obtainable in the Easter event shop, but you can no longer get this, and this was another special thing that actually came out around the same time the candy blossoms came out. We're gonna go ahead and place our candy sunflower down right here in the sprinklers so it can start growing. And then again, we're just gonna spam watering can it. Oh, it actually grew really fast. Okay, so this is the candy sunflower. Now, this thing, it doesn't look anywhere near as gigantic and crazy as the sunflowers that are currently in the game, but this is still pretty cool because this is history right here. I don't even want to pick it and sell it because this thing you can no longer obtain. So keeping this in my garden on this account is actually pretty special. So we'll go ahead and get the value of it in a little bit. We'll just give it some time, and it looks like, oh, the bee is going to pollinate it. This actually might be the first pollinated candy sunflower inside of Grow a Garden. Pretty sure there's probably not many of these in the game right now. Now, if we didn't have these crazy sprinklers and the watering cans, this would have actually taken 1.4 hours to grow. So we're gonna give it some time and let it just get some mutations on it if possible. Maybe we can get gold on it from all these sprinklers, but yeah, this might be a first, a pollinated candy sunflower. All right, so the next one we're gonna skip for now because this one is actually only obtainable from admins, and this has never been in the game before from any shops or any legit way to get it. You can only get this thing from admins, but this is called the Mega Mushroom Seed. So we're gonna save this for last so you guys can see the rarest seed inside of the game. And for now, we're gonna go ahead and just skip straight over to the red lollipop. Now there's actually a blue lollipop variant, which if you actually go in here, you can't use admin commands, but if you press F2 and do give seed, and then you put your username, you can actually type in blue and then blue lollipops right here. But if I try to give it to myself, of course, nothing's gonna happen because I don't have admin, but you can actually see some seeds in the list that aren't in the game yet. But there was a blue lollipop variant. I didn't receive it here. I don't know if it actually ever made it to the game, so we only have this red lollipop, but this again was in the Easter event. So I'm gonna grow this one back here. And I guess we'll just do an advanced sprinkler for this little guy. Oh, he grows really quick. And there we go. It's a red lollipop. This honestly just looks like one of the mushrooms you can get from the seed shop, but it is its own thing. It's a red lollipop. Okay, this sprinkler is so loud. I'm going to delete that. And we just got it pollinated. So if people have not sold the red lollipops, we might have just gotten the first red lollipop pollinated variant in the game. Again, we're setting records. Next up, we have the cherry blossom seed. So I love cherry blossom trees, and so does my fiance. So this is really cool that they actually had a cherry blossom in the game. Now, this one's a very weird one because for a while in the shop, it says before April 21st, players could purchase a strawberry from the seed shop for 21 Robux, and they would obtain this cherry blossom seed. But since then, the cherry blossom seed has not returned, and it's currently unobtainable. So this thing, for some reason, took place of the strawberry seed for a while in the shop. I don't know if it was a bug and maybe this was just a scrapped seed from early development, but it's really cool that we can experience it now and see what it looks like in our garden. I'm gonna go ahead and let this thing grow with an advanced sprinkler, and let's also put a master sprinkler on it so we can try to get a big cherry blossom since this thing is pretty tiny. And then let's watering can it all the way up. Oh, there we go. It lagged for a second, but there we go. We got a cherry blossom seed growing in. It looks like it's a little laggy or buggy, like it doesn't know how to react to the watering as well as the other stuff in the game, and maybe because this thing was never supposed to be in the game, but there we go. There's our little cherry blossom seed. It honestly looks like the next seed we're about to showcase, which is the candy blossom. Now, the candy blossom is one that pretty much everybody already knows about in Grow a Garden by now, but we were actually able to receive one on this account to showcase it. Plants it like right here, kind of close to the cherry blossom, so we can actually see the differences. All right, let's watering can this all the way up. So what it seems like they did is they probably took the cherry blossom and then they made it into the candy blossom. It looks pretty much the same with like brick to brick ratio. It looks almost like the same build. And then the cherry blossom also has these little droopy things on it, and same with the candy blossom. So I think all they did is they took the cherry blossom, scrapped it, and then they turned it into the candy blossom. But the one thing about the cherry blossom that's different than the candy blossom is what actually blooms on them. You can actually get little cherry blossoms. Now, these are pollinated right now because of a bee just came by, but the cherry blossoms are completely different from what you get from the candy blossom. So this is really cool to see that this was going to be its own thing at one point. All right, so before we go to the Mega Mushroom, we still have one more to show, which is the Venus Flytrap seed. Now, I thought I got a regular variant of this to show, but I actually have a rainbow one that Brighter gave me, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant the rainbow Venus Flytrap. You were able to get this from the basic seed pack at a 0.01% chance or 1% chance in the premium seed pack. You may have not seen this one or even knew it was a thing because of how rare it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant this down, and we're gonna see what it looks like, the rainbow variant. That is big. You could see the outline of it. That is actually really cool looking. That is insane. Honestly, this thing looks way cooler than the beanstalk. It looks like the beanstalk kind of took inspiration from it a little bit because of how the way it's like built. I wish you could still get this in the game, but with the rainbow and it's actually moving its mouth. That is crazy. All right, so everything is pretty much grown in. We just have to wait for everything to actually bloom something on it so we can check the values of everything. But in the meantime, while we finish waiting for all of these, let's go ahead and check out this admin exclusive Mega Mushroom seed. I don't even know where to put it because it's going to take up a lot of space. I guess I'll do it like right here because we have the most space right here. Yeah, this will work fine. Let's go ahead and put it right here. And then to try and make this thing even more gigantic, we already have the master sprinkler over it. So we'll do another advanced sprinkler right here. And then we'll also do a godly sprinkler next to that. And look at that. It's already starting to grow. And this thing is huge. Oh my, look at how giant this thing is. Look how much space it takes up too. I think if they ever add this in the game, they need to make the base smaller or they need to make it so you could grow your garden even more than you already can. Because wow. All right, I'm going to do some spam clicking on this. All right, we're at 45% now. And it's pretty much just growing the top of it. The red part of it, and it's hardly making any other progress than that. All right, we have all these sprinklers working overtime to get this Mega Mushroom to grow, and it's still only at 60%. But it's taking shape. It's definitely a Mega Mushroom. This thing is humongous. All right, 99%. And 100, and it's pretty much there now. All right, well, here's our Mega Mushroom completed. This thing is huge, and it took forever to actually grow this thing in. Wow. We're gonna take a little break here, and then we're gonna come back in just a little bit when all this stuff grows in and see what kind of money you can make from all these plants. All right, so it's been like 2 hours, I would say, and not everything has completely bloomed something, but we're gonna go ahead and check out what has bloomed. All right, so we do have our cursed fruit that has grown in, and it is pollinated, and it looks huge. Look at how big this one is that we got. This thing is 154 kilograms. This is gigantic. I don't know if they're all supposed to be like this, but wow, this one is big. I don't think the soul fruit has bloomed anything. I think it actually takes a lot longer, but looking on the wiki, the value of the soul fruit is only about 3,000 for the minimum value, but I don't know what it would be with these mutations we have and how big of the one that we're growing up here would be. All right, we also have this candy sunflower that got pollinated. We are going to collect that even though I didn't want to, but we're going to get this sold. And this one is also pretty big compared to the regular sized ones you normally see, because again, those master sprinklers really help. We're going to go ahead and collect one cherry blossom for now, and it looks like, do we get a gold cherry blossom? Ah, we did. So I'm gonna check the value of the gold cherry blossom as well. That'd be cool to see. And then we also, it looks like we got a pretty big candy blossom, so I'm gonna go and grab, can I grab this just gigantic one right here? There we go. And we have a gold candy blossom, which is actually worth a lot of money for what I know. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Let's go ahead and grab our red lollipop in the corner. And if we actually climb the Venus flytrap, we can pick up the fruit inside of its mouth. And the Mega Mushroom says you can collect, but I don't know if it actually sprouts anything. When I search my inventory, nothing comes up. And when I press collect, it just kind of does nothing. So I think this is more just for looks. I don't think it actually has anything you can sell on it. Let's go ahead and check the rest of what we have here. So this giant pollinated cursed fruit. Let's go ahead and talk to Steven. And how much is this thing worth? 2 million. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Not as good as I thought it would be for being this big, but it only has pollinated on it, so I didn't expect it to be that amazing, but I mean, still pretty good. Let's check this pollinated candy sunflower now. I don't think this will be worth very much anything. Only 436,000. Okay, well, at least it looks cool. All right, let's try this tiny little cherry blossom. This thing wasn't placed with the strawberry, so I don't think this would be worth much, but let's go ahead and check out the regular value of it. This is worth 7,000. Okay, that's way better than a strawberry, though. Let's check the gold variant. 129,000. So yeah, the gold really definitely helps the cherry blossom. And then candy blossoms are already worth a lot. So if you actually see the value of this one that I have, that's already 1.1 million for just this 10 kilogram candy blossom, which is pretty insane. What will be even more crazy is a gold candy blossom and how much this is going to be worth. 26 million. That is a big jump. We have our pollinated red lollipop. Let's go ahead and see what that is worth. 237,000. Okay, yeah, I didn't think this was going to be that much either. And finally, we have this pretty big normal Venus flytrap from our rainbow Venus flytrap. Doesn't have anything mutated on it, but we're going to go ahead and check the value of it. This thing is just a big spike ball. I'm smacking Steven with it. And this is worth 300k. So that's actually pretty good. And I just love the way that this thing looks. I really wish I had this rainbow Venus flytrap in my actual garden. But anyways, yeah, these are all fruits and plants that you can no longer obtain inside of Roblox Grow a Garden. So let me know down in the comments which your favorite is and what you think the mega mushroom should be valued at if you were actually able to collect from it. All right, so we're gonna start out, of course, with all of our moon cats like we normally do. All right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is stack some sprinklers like right here. We're gonna do all of our sprinklers, master, godly, basic, and advanced, of course. But then we're gonna go ahead and place our mushrooms close to this group of sprinklers to hopefully have the effects be applied to them. There's not a lot of room to work with here, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, all of our moon cats are sleeping, but they're like not in range of our mushroom. Oh wow, they're like all over here. I guess what I'll do is I'll quickly try and place them in this group of moon cats to see if that will take effect on any of them, and then I'm gonna go ahead and place some more sprinklers right in this stash here. All right, now it's just a waiting game to see which mushrooms become the biggest out of all these, and then I guess we'll pick our mushroom. I don't really know how big the mushrooms can get. I don't think they can get as big as some other fruits in this game, but we're gonna go ahead and wait this out and see which one becomes the biggest, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of compare some mushrooms here to get the top weighted one. I don't know if it matters if the mushroom is bigger like this. I'm not sure which one will actually affect the weight. So I guess what I'm gonna go ahead and do is there's this taller one right here, and I'm gonna compare it to one of these ones that have a bigger base to it. So I guess this like orange one in here will be a good choice. All right, let's see. Can I grab this one specifically? Yep. All right, we got that one. And then I'm gonna compare it to one of these because this one's a pretty wide one. So I'm gonna pick up these smaller ones carefully. All right, I'm gonna pick up this one, and then that will be a good comparison here. All right, so this one's 33 compared to this one that's a little bit taller. It's 30. So yeah, it looks like the width matters more for the price. And this one I think is our widest one, so I think we're gonna go with this one. It's not as big as I was hoping, but it's the biggest one I think in weight that we got. So this one will be our mushroom that we try to get every mutation on today. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply our 5 mutations on this thing so we can go ahead and get it to rainbow. And actually right before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get our queen bee ready and our butterfly ready, just so their cooldowns can start. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add shock to this. I'm gonna add pollinated. I'm going to add chocolate. We'll use a honey sprinkler. We're gonna add a cloud touch mutation onto this just so we have that 5th mutation. And just like that, it should update. We are good. We now have 5 mutations on our mushroom. And once this queen bee cools down, it will cool down our butterfly. And then this mushroom will turn into a rainbow mushroom. Okay, so this may or may not be good timing. We have about 1 minute left for our queen bee to cool down our butterfly and get this thing rainbow. And within that, we do have a heat wave event. So I'm hoping that this heat wave stays so we can get this thing rainbow. We can instantly get sun-dried applied to it. Because as you see, we just got sun-dried, but we got to get rainbow before we're supposed to get sun-dried. So I need this queen bee to hurry up so we can get sun-dried done and out of the way, like right now. I'm going to go ahead and also make sure I have some more tanning mirrors right next to this thing. All right, there we go. The butterfly is now cooled down from the queen bee and it's about to apply rainbow, and hopefully this event does not end in like 2 seconds. All right, there we go. Our mushroom should now be rainbow, which it is, and now we just got to get a heat wave to hit one of these tanning mirrors so we can make sure that this thing gets sun-dried back. Please. There we go, and perfect. We made it. We made it. We got sun-dried applied back onto our rainbow mushroom. We're good. We have 2 of those mutations done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick up our queen bee and our butterfly. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is reapply the chocolate mutation onto here with shocked, pollinated, and a honey sprinkler to get us honey glaze, just like we did at the start. All right, there we go. And then on our main account, we're going to apply the Amber mutation and also the Cloud Touch mutation. Now, I do have the chilled spray right here, but we're not going to do chilled just yet because we're going to try and work on ceramic first. So in the meantime, I'm going to have my main account leave, and hopefully we can get this thing to ceramic before we have our main account rejoin. Otherwise, we'll just go straight for frozen. All right, but just like that, our mushroom is looking pretty good. We are up to 8 mutations on it, and to go ahead and add to the fun of this, we're going to go ahead and start spawning in all of our pets. So we're going to get our disco beast to get that disco mutation applied. We're going to use our chicken zombies to get that zombified mutation applied. 2 cooked owls to get either cooked or burnt applied. And then we're going to do 1 scarlet, but we're also going to do 1 mimic octopus, just so that way we can hopefully get a 100% chance to get one of these other mutations. Oh, you know what? Actually, before I use this bird to get verdant and then turn sun-dried into paradisal, I want this sun-dried to go to ceramic before it goes to paradisal. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pick up our scarlet for now. And I am going to go ahead and use our sea turtle because thinking about it, I do need to get wet on this anyways in order to get this thing clay. So I'm gonna see if this event gives us wet or if our sea turtle gives us wet, and as long as we get one of the two, I think we're good, and then we just gotta wait for a sandstorm to pass through. All right, usually the disco bees come in clutch. Let's see if that's true for today. 1 disco bee's going off. Zephy, let's go, dude. The disco bees, they just know their game, man. Look at that. We already got disco applied to the mushroom. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead then and pick up this other disco bee, and I guess in the meantime, we'll just get some more sea turtles just to get this thing wet quickly because we really want to get that clay done and then this thing can turn to ceramic. Okay, our sea turtle just applied wet to the mushroom, which is perfect timing because I got to pick these guys up quick because our mimic octopus is about to mimic one of our other pets. So now we can either get cooked or burnt, or we'll be able to get zombified pretty much instantly with the mimic octopus. So let's see which one he decides to mimic. Okay, he's doing something. We'll see it. Okay, well, I thought the mimic octopus was a 100%, but he literally just failed. So I guess the mimic octopus is not a 100%. It could still fail, and I guess it just picks up on the rates of what your other pet's chances are. So I guess that makes sense. I think if it was a 100% success rate every time, it would be a little broken. All right, cooked owl applied burnt to mushroom. We now have burnt on our mushroom. Thank you, cooked owl. I wonder if one day we'll actually get the cooked mutation instead of burnt. It seems to be very, very rare. Oh, and chicken zombie applied zombified. So you know what? For once in my life, maybe I won't be so sad. And besides that, we could get verdant, but we're just gonna wait that one out until we can get that sun dry to turn into ceramic. I don't want to mess with that. I want to try to get ceramic first this time because that's the one we'd be struggling on. All right, so we have a windy event going on, so we can hopefully get this mushroom windstruck added onto it since our dino eggs are still needing a lifetime to open. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna try to trowel this mushroom to the front of my garden here because for some reason, and other people noticed this too, I saw in the comments, that whenever you move the mushroom to the front of the garden, for some reason, you usually get windstruck a lot easier when it's up here. Now, maybe we're all just tripping, but I don't know. It seems to work for me in the past, and it seems like it works for other people. So hopefully this helps. Yeah, that didn't do anything. All right, we have another windy event coming through, so we're blessed again. Hopefully we can get windstruck done. This one should be easy, but for some reason it always is very hit or miss for us. Okay, the event just ended. Let's see. Okay, we got windstruck. Let's go, dude. Maybe this corner is the blessed corner, but windstruck is added. Now we just gotta hope that we get a sandstorm soon and a tornado twisted event. Alright, so I have been AFKing on and off, and it's been like 3 hours. And of course, when I went AFK this last time, there was a tornado, there was a moon event, and there was another heat wave. So I think the game just doesn't like me, and it thought that I left for good. So then it started doing stuff. Looking back at the clips, the tornado literally was like on our mushroom, but it did not convert our windstruck. It did not give us twisted because our windstruck did not mix and convert to the tempestuous. Oh, but hold on. Wait a minute, this is perfect timing. We just got another tornado event to start. Okay, well, I'm gonna try and get our mushroom here to get twisted on it so we can get that to mix in and give us that mutation. However, AFKing though, we have not gotten one sandstorm, and it's been like hours and hours and hours of doing this. Oh, there's 2 tornadoes on this. Hold on. But the fact that there hasn't been a sandstorm within like the 3 or 4 hours I've been recording this video, I don't know if it's going to be possible today to get ceramic. We just need sandy in order to, we have everything else. We're ready. Oh, and there we go. We did just get tempestuous. So we just mixed twisted and windy, and now we have that. That's a good extra multiplier. Yeah, I guess we'll wait around for like another 30 minutes. But if we don't get sandy, I think I'm going to go ahead and just convert that sun-dried to paradisal and convert that wet to frozen. All right, so I have still been waiting hours on end, and we don't have friend bound, and we also have not gotten one sandstorm throughout the hours of us recording this video, which is very unfortunate. So I'm gonna go ahead and move forward then with just turning the sand dried into paradisal and the wet into frozen, and see what the value is after this. I wanted to at least get ceramic and celestial on this as well, but we're almost there, and we haven't gotten either events in hours and hours of waiting. So I guess what we're gonna go ahead and do is spawn in our Scarlets here, and just in case we'll spawn in our Mimic Octopus just to help them out if they don't make any progress. And I'm gonna go ahead and give them all a pet toy to hopefully boost their chances. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply the chilled spray to our mushroom. So now our mushroom is officially frozen instead of wet. All right, and just like that, our Scarlet applied Verdant to our mushroom, which gives us Paradisal as it combined with the sun-dried mutation. All right, I'm gonna pick all of these guys up, and we are now at 14 mutations on this thing. Now, if you expand some of the ones that combined, we'd be at 16 mutations. Now, I only really needed to get Ceramic on this, and then maybe Celestial and Aurora. So we're pretty much missing 3 legit mutations, but we're almost there. But within hours of sitting here, I didn't get any of those events, which is crazy. Now, of course, this doesn't include all the admin ones, but I think the creator program is supposed to resume very soon, so we can start getting those in these videos again. It's time to check with Steven the price of our mushroom. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. And Steven, what is our mushroom valued at? All right, so our mushroom is worth 5 billion. I think this could have definitely been a lot more if the size of this thing was bigger. I don't really know the max size you can get of a mushroom. I know I've seen some very, very tall ones before, some very big ones, but for this one only being, I don't even know, probably around 30 to 40 kilograms, that's pretty good. I mean, 5 bill is pretty good with all these mutations. There's definitely other plants that would have gotten you more. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought the price would have been and what you think the price would be if I were to get all the admin mutations on this mushroom. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.